Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get started with some more D&D right here on Lionhead Gaming. And since it's Thursday, that means it's time for some more Song of Rapture, though with a few change-ups since our wonderful John, player of Quildor, couldn't be here this Thursday, and Peter, Peter is here, but he's on his phone. It's gonna be a grand old time. So, Miss Yola Omen, I pass it over to you.
Sure. So, when we last left our valiant vanguard, they'd found themselves encountering a truth, some answers to questions that have long since been asked, and really some mysteries about the world and what has been bringing things to this point, finally finding some direction as they ventured out past the city of Roka, only returning to find, it seems, that trouble is rearing its head back in the city of the gods. But what exactly transpired last session is not particularly my story to tell, so can someone tell us what happened on that last episode of Song of Rapture? Question mark?
Yeah, let's run through this bullet point list here. So, at the start of the session, right, a few members of the Vanguard did like some really like minor shopping in Roka, and then the next day we decided to take Persephone's tree stride to Candlekeep, or Cradlekeep rather. Quite. Why did you name it that? It trips me up every time. Quite quick. I feel like you did it on purpose. Quite quickly, people recognized us as the proclaimed Dragon Slayers, and news of our arrival was spreading throughout the city pretty quickly, with citizens coming to see us with their own eyes. Got to be a little famous for a little bit. By the time we arrived at the Grand Library, the Tome Keepers were already waiting for us and directed us to meet with the Incantation of 10, putting a stop to whatever meeting they were having to meet with us. With the latest exchange of information with the Incantation, it was discussed that these now called Spheres of Annihilation called upon principles of magic and theory that none of the Incantation were truly familiar with. While similar to other schools of magic, it could not be pinned down to one that they knew. Furthermore, using these spheres, however that may be defined, seems to exacerbate the stresses they place upon the veil between planes, a dangerous prospect that shouldn't be treated lightly. If one were needed to be used, it should be used as a last resort. The Vanguard turned over the Gatekey sphere and was informed that the sphere that resided within Obsidius's lair was gone when those hired to retrieve it attempted to do so. Current belief, at least from the Vanguard side, is that it was taken by Seth, the Yonti cultist that is enemy number one at the moment of the Valiant Vanguard, and is currently scheming or putting into motion plans to wipe Darunga off the map for essentially laughing in his face when he tried to pull the Yonti from the leadership there and into his cult. Samantha informed the Incantation of what she saw within the Arcanoloth, known as Galleon's dream, her vision of his creator, the Lich, referred to as the Sovereign. The Incantation seemed to agree that with this new evidence, the amount of magical power required for this plan to work finally began to make some sense. With this, they wished to reveal a close secret of theirs, as their working relationship with the Vanguard was taking on a much more serious bent. Transporting all of them into the deepest layers of the strange magical vault that they guard, the Vanguard was brought before a massive crystal. Within that crystal, the creator of the Incantation of 10, the mighty and ancient elf wizard, Elminster, who in his own desires saw fit to split himself into the incantations and seal himself away in the crystal, escaping entropy without resorting to undeath. But in this discussion, it was revealed that there used to be a ninth incantation. One who apparently left the city, and in doing so, broke connection with the others, presumably lost to time or the magic sustaining him cut off, causing a permanent death. Persephone and Samantha theorize that this ninth incantation would have been the master of the school of magic the others were not, the same school informing and creating the spheres of annihilation. And maybe, just maybe, the Sovereign is in fact the ninth incantation. But who knows? We'll have to find out if we ever get to that point, or if we die ahead of time, who knows. After that, though, the party split up. Samantha going to go find her Yanti allies at the Gilded Scorpion. Tamar and Swift Hollow feigning some interest with one of the incantation on the idea of the gate keys and how they allow them to access and traverse through walls in a way that no other magic really could, and how they could possibly locate more of them, etc., etc. Feigning an interest towards saving the world, but instead more, it seemed, trying to figure out how they could potentially gain access to one of the keys or pieces of keys possessed by one of the incantation themselves. What are those playful scamps up to? Who knows? With some minor shopping, a bit of goofy puking, and some power fantasy in a fun puke-covered bar, dropping a bunch of money to make that problem go away, shortly and sweetly, the Vanguard grouped back up and decided now to return back to Roka, utilizing the teleportation circle and the magic of the incantation to return to Roka without issue. A wonderful, informative day trip coming to a swift conclusion. But now, as the magic fades, they see a massive sandstorm swirling around Roka and the surrounding desert lands. What is in store for our heroes this week? Join us as we write another verse in the Song of Rapture.
Yay!
Well done. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
I still have it. I will always have it unless you rip it from my cold, dead hands.
Now you might have to roll D100 then, it seems. Hey.
Hey, doubles. I get to roll again, right?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Straight to Joe.
Roll.
You have to roll doubles 3 times.
Not just once, straight
Let's
to Joe.
see. Straight to
Roll doubles
frickin'
once,
jail.
straight to Joe.
As indeed we find the Valiant Vanguard chock full of answers and some with new drive, returning to the city of Roka to pick up where they left off, although it seems that since they've been gone these last few hours, actually several hours at this point, someone was off crafting at the time, we find that in this midday going evening city of Roka, the high tide, the popular, apparently seems like season in this city, the entire walled surroundings of this place have been racked and shaken by what sounds like beating and blowing winds. You can see as you enter this large library tower that the residence of the Wizard King, you can see through the small slit windows leading out into what should be a bright midday sky leads to a dark gray, gloomy overcast. Strange in color till you realize wisping and hissing across these walls are tufts of sand, that which seem to have risen to the clouds themselves and colored it in its sort of taupe hue. And it's possibly at this time you hear the shifting and shaking of furniture around you. Some of the chairs, the setting places in this library start to shift and turn as the wind beats against the walls. And it's at one point you see one of the bookcases sort of shift a little bit, and then one by one, scrolls and books sort of turn and fall from their edges, spilling across the ground, just about in time for these heavy, sort of faltered footsteps to make their way up the staircase, just in immaculate timing, as you see a familiar face, arms filled with bundles of scrolls and books, scurrying up after what seems to be a spree of carnage, as a tall, thin, gaunt humanoid covered in linens and head wrapped in a thick, round turban, steps up holding a big old mound of literature that seems to be daring to spill from his grasp. As you would see, a familiar face, someone you hadn't seen in quite some time. The apprentice of the Wizard King himself, Rajid Al-Hassan, said to be the, I suppose, successor of the strange, artificially forged leader of this city. As he sort of catches one book as it falls, but as soon as it lands in his hands, more begin to spill out across the ground. Oh, drat, a hand if you would.
Ma rushes over, starts grabbing up books.
Conjure
Alright.
a mage hand and catch one.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Valiant Vanguard, when did you get here?
Just now.
Just not. Oh, just in time to see, well, the carnage outside. The storm is quite something. It's shaking every building here in the city.
Make my way to a window.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb into a window. Does this storm seem natural?
Give me a nature check.
Same question with Persephone.
Give me a nature check.
Nature check. Damn.
Looking
step
around the
aside. Let me show you the power of a -1. Oh! Oh,
Jesus.
baby!
Straight to jail.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, looking around, it's hard to tell. You guys sailed these sands not too long ago. You felt the briskness of the wind that carried you, and saw it carry through the air on these strong gusts. That the sand itself is loose and coarse, almost like water at times, like quicksand. It's not really a surprise to see you would be picked up so much, and I mean, it seems to be for the most part. You can't really see as far as where it ends. The horizon has since been fogged by a wall of rising and falling sand. Probably only Tamar Khan with that level of apparent expertise in that of natural and unnatural surroundings of your nature. Probably realize that you guys are probably gone for a few hours. Like, since you left somewhat, not early morning, but closer to the dawn, spent some hours there. So, you did a lot of lingering for studying. Came back. You spent some time, at least near the area. You had some time to sort of, as you are, I guess, more of a attuned to nature creature, to sort of feel out the air. Maybe you might pick up on something. Whatever this is occurred fast. And hard to say if it's too fast, at least with that level. But it does seem faster than it should have been. If this is a natural storm, something has either called it or caused it.
I remember those guys this morning. The smell in the air. I did not expect such a thing to be possible. Not so quick.
Nature can be unpredictable in many ways. Does the king do anything about this as I turn to this guy that I don't know?
Is this normal for Roka?
The high tide is often a time for raising winds. Never quite this bad. But no, the Wizard King is currently resting. It seems that it's been quite some time since you were last here. You heard his story, his nature, that being a construct connected from the soul to a vessel. Well, as he sort of just looks a bit solemn, some of his books and scrolls starting to unfurl from his hands. It seems that this connection he shares is beginning to near its end. He still has much time left, but it does require him to rest for copious amounts of time. He is currently, I suppose for lack of a better word, recharging.
So as of now, he's disposed.
I'm sorry, the wind is so loud, young Elva. What did you say to me? You pulled your mouth a little closer to my ear. There we are.
Sorry.
It's all good.
So he's disposed, as of late.
More or less, yes. But I'm doing a good job of keeping watch in his stead. Or doing my best to. It's hard to live up to his capabilities.
Anything strange happened before the storm arrived?
Not of lately. There was rumor that some Yonti had caused some trouble, but it seems that has been resolved. Yonti have been causing frequent trouble around here, never so much as the other day.
Snap my fingers and beckon my trusty ally into being. Let's see, what else can I make him into? Is it everything that's on the Find Familiar list?
It's everything on... I suppose so.
He's a bat today.
Get batted.
Just hold out a pinky for him to perch onto.
Oh, so loud. So many noises all around.
You're already upside down. Look at you. Is this something you are familiar with, Raziel? I have had concerns considering what it is you lost to our opponent.
I myself possess no such ability, but it is not outside the capabilities my ears, of a celestial to call upon the power of nature and control it as they will. Oh, is it so loud in here?
Fine.
I do not like these ears.
They switch him back to his normal form.
Much better.
Can't see what the gifts of rest has shown me as I look out the window as it seems a small little bit of magic around my eyes. The fur seems to shift around my eyes and almost glow a bit. I'm gonna cast myself a little detect magic.
All right. As your eyes
Looking out.
flash with light, immediately you are bombarded with this sensation. Just as the wind seems to run around and through the air, it seems to run straight through you. A sensation of incredibly heavy, incredibly dense transmutative magic. And it reaches farther than your senses can read.
And it's certainly magic in the air. That which changes, that which shifts. It is all around, even when the storm does not touch. I see anything. Something is changing this place.
Well, logically speaking, I assume the source would be in the eye of the storm.
Can take a look. As Tamar will hop up on the windowsill. I'm assuming they're like open to the air.
They're mostly, yeah. You've been in one before, looking at the city. They're, again, more like tall, kind of narrowish arrow slits, but they're wide enough you can sort of like put your shoulders neatly between, sort of sit and look.
So I'll learn in a moment.
I'm
You're
gonna climb
fine.
on his back.
Oh, coming with! Alright! As I'm going to hop and just sort of climb up the side of the building, start making my way towards the roof as the storm starts to batter us a bit.
Sure, give me an athletics check. As you are climbing this wall, you do feel, for a moment, the wind seems to catch your side suddenly and pull. It's normally would be pretty simple to climb this even somewhat sheer-faced building, but now you are being a bit challenged.
Especially since I've got a person on my back.
Nice, doesn't weigh too much.
Nah, not too bad.
Oh, but you do feel your hands catch onto a ledge and suddenly push against you, and you feel like if it wasn't for just the strength in your hands and the probably the realization, as you just said, that you have a passenger, you need a little more extra oomph to your grip, you think you'd almost be pulled off. But fortunately, you're able to keep your hold on as you climb hand over foot to where you reach where you want to go.
Making my way to the roof and taking a look around the storm, trying to guard my eyes the best I can, trying to figure out if there's a source or anything, or just where the heart of all of this is coalescing, seeing if the storm looks like it's whipping out in the middle of the desert somewhere, or if it seems to just be all around us.
Give me a perception check with disadvantage, as there is sand buffeting all around you, lightly obscuring your vision.
I'm going to try and see if I can pinpoint where the storm would be based off of, I guess, the wind and changes where the wind is blowing.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like a storm.
Okay. Give me an investigation check with disadvantage.
Missus, guide my sight.
Look at these even rolls. Okay, not bad. Yeah, with the buffeting wind around you, Corin, it's hard to exactly tell like a source point or something where this could be coming from or focusing down on. Again, your eyes carry so far before suddenly the whipping sand sort of clouds your vision and everything just becomes sort of a blur. Even this bright, resplendent pyramid to the gods in the distance becomes this sort of brownish taupe blur. Temercon, able to get a bit more of a general look to the city and around it. You can see just the furthest edges of this city, maybe a few miles outside of its walls. You could see maybe the lightest of obscurity before it becomes a soft fog. Maybe it looks like it's just falling away from the city. And you look at the other side of the city, and it seems like it too is falling away from the city. And it's until you look all around that you realize that for the furthest reaches of the storm, from where you can tell from this height, seem to expand all around the city until you look up. At the center point, can't make out where its origin is, can't make out the eye, as they call it. Doesn't even seem to have one. It just seems to be a big mass of swirling air and sand. But you can tell that this storm is sitting, resting and swirling, and in this case, truly festering just above the city of Roka.
I point up into the sky. As I hold my hand to my throat, a little bit more divine magic. Do you see that? out! With a thaumaturgy as I yell out into the storm to the core right next to me as I point up into the sky. You see how it's focused now! In the middle of it all! Not moving, just waiting! In the middle of it all! High above the city!
I gotta tell you, my guy, I have no idea what you just said.
Let us go back inside!
Hearing that it is it appears like transmutive magic. I try to like sort of flip through what I understand of Arcana and get an appreciation for what might cause something like this. If there's any sort of
Sure.
old text in the advanced guide to spellcasting by Elminster.
Give me an Arcana check. The magic seems, familiar. You've seen it yourself. You've seen Persephone use this kind of magic before, shifting the air around in a single direction. You haven't heard of magic that could create, like, spinning and vortexed walls. Here, it seems possible. It seems like one could, with enough magic, possibly do this, but the actual nature of it escapes you.
Start climbing back down.
Eventually sliding back in. I guess the only thing you really notice is you're climbing down this wall, still being bombarded. Actually, give me another athletic check as you're climbing down. A little easier because you're not scaling against gravity, but you are also trying to keep your hand on this building.
Feeling how hard it was on the way back up. Just give me some strength in them fingers.
Kiss your fingers
Climb
before
back
climbing down. Give me that athletics check. Oop. Oop.
14.
Oop. As your fingers catch on, you feel that wind blow again, and you sure hold your grip onto the side of this building, and then the sheer face slips from your fingers, and you and Corin begin to fall. At this point, from the great height you're on, you go from the top of the building?
Yeah, I went to the top.
Oh, you'll be falling 500 feet.
As soon as my grip starts to sway and I start to drift backwards, my body twists, grabbing onto Corin, and like out of nowhere, my feet kick off of nothing as I kick myself back onto the wall.
All right, give me an athletics check.
Basically able to kick off the wind itself.
Indeed, even catching a bit of sand underneath your foot. Hey, latching back on. Heart beating out of your chest, but finding some firm holding back in your hands, enough to keep a dead man's grip, one might say, until you're back in the window. How's Corn respond to that as you just immediately start scale?
I'm just having the time of my life. I had a way out, but I just wanted to see how he was going to get us back in there.
Nice.
Not a worry in the world, my friend, as we sort of plumb our way back into the little crevice of the window. It's like shake to get all the fucking sand out of my fur.
All over
No.
my floor.
No, you're not as strong as I assumed you were.
This is not my domain, no. Agile, wise! That I will be lifting no mountains.
Well, if I had known that, I would have just carried us both. She was told me that.
Maybe avoid climbing buildings for the time being while these winds persist.
That would be wise advice to take.
Very much so.
It was a bit of a task, but nothing to worry about. So,
Definitely
found.
seems to be powerful magic, but I am not sure from where. And the Wizard King is resting. I do not know why this would be here, but it seems to be everywhere. As Samantha just seems to be looking at outside of like a far window as you come back in. What's up?
Estebar is just pointing upwards with a big old grin on his face.
Oh,
And up.
on the roof.
Farther than that, like it is adrift in the sky above us, circling, but just sitting, not moving as a storm would, not making its way across the desert. Like a great stone, circled in a single point, resting in the sky above us.
Here. Do you mind helping me, Tamar?
Of course.
Samantha just sort of positions herself against the window and sort of just tries to keep her legs sort of centered on the inside and just tries to lean slightly out of the window but backwards.
Okay, so
sort of
just like leaning out.
Yep, leaning out and trying to look up.
And so I just pull the bar out, extend it to its 10-foot length, and just like shove it. It almost looks like I'm about to just crack you in your throat as it shoves up into your clothing, and then I twist the bar as it just twists your clothing and catches tight as I just slowly lower you out the window.
And you see me bring up my scepter. Oh, it's Soraka. You need to move. As I try to move her out of the way as I'm holding on to her, I guess.
Oh, she's immediately off you. The moment the wind hits you. I'm not fucking with that shit.
Slithers back inside.
I pat Soraka's head.
Soraka got a mouth on her, damn.
I wonder.
I learned from you.
Fuck this shit.
I hold on to the scepter and I bring my other hand to the other side. And I look up at this strange magical effect swirling all around us. Oh, this is going to take some effort. I can feel it. As I try to find that incantation, find my own will, and try to force my will onto what it is I'm seeing all around me. This magic seeming to swirl through the city. I would hope it's in range, as I am going to begin the incantation for Dispel Magic, if I can feel that magic having something to lack onto.
You can certainly try to just dispel it.
I will try.
As I touch her foot with mine, as we create a big old weird V with a pole in between, let the wisdom of races guide your magic. Okay.
Sort of gives me a bit of a centered moment, able to ignore the sand slapping into the side of my face, as I will burn a spell slot and to see if I can just wrench this storm away.
All right, you put some magic into this and you release it. Immediately, you do feel latch onto something the moment it leaves your fingertips. This magic you use is able to dispel magical effects in an area, and it becomes completely obvious the moment it leaves your fingertips. This entire area is under the effect of a magical effect. And so you try to wrench it away, and of course, there is tremendous amounts of weight resisting you. So let's see, give me that charisma check.
With a D4 on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Spicy D4s.
Charisma check. Charisma check.
Oof.
See how that D4 gets you.
More information. Hey!
Hey!
As you pull your magic against this, you do feel, as you try to resist it, the wind does buffer you slightly. And as much power as you put into this, as much pure will as you try to thrust into this force, you feel it resist you, and your magic is dispelled itself. As give me an athletics check. As immediately the wind starts to push against your body, and the bar is helping support you, but it's almost like the wind itself is resisting you, retaliating against you, trying to blow you off of this ledge.
How much assistance is that bar giving me? Is it giving me +5 on average assistance?
Roll your check. A DC's been adjusted. Kind
Might be
of
a lower DC.
Oof. As you see start to slip off the edge of the bar, immediately the wind's pulling you. Demarcon, you're able to keep a firm grip, but you do feel the wind is actually sliding her off and around the bar. She's about to slip off. What do you do?
Can I try and jump off Tamar's back and just grab a hold of her? Just pull her back?
You certainly can.
Why are you still on my back?
You're just chilling back there, pulling in.
Sure, you see her start to
I
slip
said I
off.
stayed on it.
Oh, yeah. As you see her start to slip and fall, you reach out, I'm assuming, grapple onto her.
Yep, just kind of pull her back.
Grab onto the pull her body again with a tremendous amount of strength, Samantha. Yank you back through the window.
You see Samantha sort of grab her shoulder, almost like she just like threw a ball too hard and tried to pick up something way too heavy and almost dislocated it.
Yes?
That is really strong magic.
So in case I see it, in case.
Do you want,
Perhaps it may be best to wait for the Wizard King to awaken. It will take some time, but the storm can't get worse by then. It should be fine.
Don't say that. That's actually not true.
Why would you
I'm
think
hoping that.
Samantha, do you want to try again? I can hold you. Oh, I'm pretty much stronger than Tamara, so I'm sure you'll be safe.
And she sort of looks at you and then looks at Tamar.
I'm still holding you, by the way. Just with one hand, just above my head.
Oh, my whole body just lifted up off the earth, huh?
Yeah.
I can just throw you out the window.
Like-
I don't know. Either way.
Like you're
Get
cheerleader
her.
holding me.
Get her, Samantha.
It's a looking
Get the
down, I
storm.
guess, at you. It's like holding up a cat trying to get a bug. Get the fly, get it. Storm seemed to almost. You can put me down, Jesus.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to go back up. I'll put it down.
You almost seemed to retaliate at my efforts to try to dispel it. Perhaps. Is the Wizard King supposed to awaken today?
It may not be for much time. It's getting harder to say when he wakes up. I expect at least by the evening. Though it's hard to tell when the sun is in the sky.
We're supposed to meet your brother, aren't we? Do you think he has any news on this?
It said that the Serpent of Man and Waters has kept an eye on these planes. She might have seen these coming. Know of his nature? Oh no, no prophecies. It's not like I have spoken to her yet.
Yeah, Samantha. Let's leave it up to the die. Where you at?
Look at these nat 20 -1 rolls tonight.
Right?
Nature breaking.
I think the wiser choice might be to try to get some more information on it rather than just trying to brute force it. I don't know what the day will have in store, and I have reservations considering.
Mr. Al Hassan is my brother down at the pools.
Yes, he mentioned he was looking for people. I assumed it was for you, but I did not think you were here, or at least you were here. Seemed to just simply disappear in the middle of the day. But it seemed like he did want to speak with you. I hard to say why. These waters of the spring, they're much too tempered and turbid to be, well, used for healing. But perhaps if he has answers for you? If you find some, please come let us know. I would love some answers in this moment.
Of course. So, shall we go? Look at the rest of the group.
Yes, let's.
Alrighty, making your way down the Wizard King's Tower, you'd find yourself wandering through the King's District of Roka, although, again, it's much less beautiful, much less wondrous as it's been since you were last here. The large, glittering, golden walls seem to be dull and colorless, without shine, as the dirt that seems to crash and run into them hides the light that would give the city its splendor. All around you, the ground you walk upon skates and cuts around your ankles with wisps of sand. You'd hear the wind hiss directly into your ear as you walk, a soft of sand brushing against your clothes. Some of you have to cloak up, pull hoods over your heads, keep your bodies well protected from the beating winds, as this place has become, even now, moving down from the tower, this is the time it took to get from there to the floor, just a few minutes. It seems like the winds have almost changed direction, are now blowing not just down toward the city, but encircling buildings, even encircling small structures, causing carts and the like to uplift and turn. You can see civilians are now pulling some of their wares away from the King's District, to where it seems like the winds sound like they might be somewhat lesser over in the urban district. just trying to find a safe place and respite from this wind. As some people are asking and turning for the Wizard King, but it sounds like it's become something of a commonplace that his presence has become less and less known here in the city since his nearing end, as it were. But yeah, otherwise you would make it to what are once some bright and glorious green gardens, but you could see now the gardens that you enter, the King's Gardens as they're known, have been sort of tossed and turned by these turbulent winds. And even now you can see as you enter through their gates, the air itself is sort of dirtied by a haze of winding sand. And as you approach, you can see somewhat gathering water from the edge of the stream is the familiar face of Mandry Khan. And through this haze, he seems to sort of stop what he's doing and turn back south in your direction and usher you over with a hand. One of his hands sort of keep what looks like a large, I guess a collared hood close to his head, trying to guard himself from the onslaught of wind. Oh, welcome! Welcome, brother! Welcome, valiant vanguard! Oh, quite a storm this is! Oh, his place is being quite tested by the gods, it seems.
And that's why we are here, the entire time. It's all well here, though. The mirror does not seem so reflective at this time as we look down at the water. Is it getting pulled and pushed by the wind?
Oh, you certainly see that this gentle pond that normally is still, so still, your reflection is so pristine inside. Instead, the image is wavering. You can see bits of sand sort of falling and spraying inside, some of the ground within lifting and falling. And yeah, it seems like whatever reflection that would be here has been distorted. And even Mandrakon looks down with a bit of a grimace. It seems as if this wind causes much trouble for the waters here. The creatures inside are disturbed, but they're very much safe. They are used to such weather. But, well, it does put a bit of change into some plans. But, I mean, come now. We are not so easily overcome by such obstacles. There are always new ways around such. And I'm glad you are all here, especially you, my favorite member of the Vanguard Quildor. We missed it there. Oh yeah, Corin, that's it. I was like, we seem like short in number here.
And I don't know this new person.
I don't know who you are, but you are also my favorite. Oh, these winds, they're
still riding on my back.
Don't forget the 3 extra Yuan-Ti and the familiar, of course.
Oh yeah. And you brought many friends here, it seems. Let's see where you at, familiar friends.
We can put them in Samantha's followers next to the kobolds. Excellent.
Where are you, Darunga? There we are. Let me drag their beautiful faces out into the void. One moment. Oh god. Followers. My favorite. As, yeah, you seem like you have a whole entourage of others with you. You can see Izael now just holding his hand up against the beating wind. His hair almost wrapped around his face like a scarf. Israka is still wrapped around Persephone's body, clinging on tightly, trying to find some respite within her, I'm assuming her flowing robes or clothes, just from the wind. And Vistus just seems to be taking it, wind blasting against his face, hair just filling with sand, just sort of squinting against it and looking onto the horizon, not really caring for what's going on. Seems you have many here now. Nevertheless, I was told by one of you, a certain close member of this group to me, and someone needed a moment of reflection, seeking wisdom. Within these parts, within these waters, there lies a connection to the planes beyond, to those connected by the world of water. However, that connection with such turbulent wind, disruption, it distempers that connection. Unfortunately, the waters must be still for a reflection to be seen. But, alas, we have a solution for this. If you all would come, find some shelter from the wind in my small abode. I do not expect so many. I might have to get more cups. There will be some cool, comforting tea inside. Come. And mind your breath. The wind carries dirt and sand. Do not try to breathe it. as he'll sort of usher and lead you guys up along this path. The wind's still sort of pulling and pushing against you guys. If you weren't walking so carefully across these stone walkways, you'd think the wind would try to knock you off your feet. As Temercon's just walking across the water.
Dancing across the small little waves, picking up across the pool.
Oh yeah. Bert. Bert. Making their way.
Stephanie's
Yep.
taking a break from fluttering due to strong winds and is walking again.
Oh yeah. Especially hard to fly in these winds. It seems like your wings will catch onto the air, give you a great lift, and then you realize it's too great a lift. You have to sort of overcompensate to keep yourself level. No. Maybe safer on the ground now. As yeah, Mandrick Khan would lead you guys up towards the entrance of his small, somewhat dilapidated abode. Even now, you can see the winds beating against it. Some of the doors and even some of the tiles that line the walls and the ceiling start to sort of open almost like latches and smack back into its side. There's this cacophony of clapping and rattling, as it sounds like this place almost looks like it's on its last legs. But he does usher you guys inside, and within you can feel immediately as the walls pass you that this place is a nice and gentle respite from this horrid, treacherous wind. See, Sayed, get in there.
Persephone's just like brushing the sand out from her locks. Just patting it
Alright.
off her clothes.
Where'd you go, boy? Oh god, Quillar does a super cool leap move. Hooah! As he lands inside the building. Everyone, again, big cramped in here. This place looks like it's only meant to hold a few people, residing with only one creature inside, but the wind does soften down around you, and you do find a bit of moment of comfort here, finally, in the city of Roka. As Mandrick Khan adjusts himself, shakes the sand out of his fur, although in a much less tempered way than perhaps his brother would, letting it fall to the ground beneath his feet. Oh, apologies. I wish for this to be much more cleaner process, but it seems that nature has had other choices. Hope you found whatever answers you were seeking back in the other city. I'd heard you were going to be returning from a trip to Cradlekeep.
Some answers, and like any good venture, more questions.
Of course. What would life be without many questions to answer? Gives you purpose, it seems.
Death.
But this makes me parched. As he'll reach underneath his small table, a small flat square with just enough space beneath it seems, hidden beneath this long shawl that looks like maybe holds some supplies. Tamarcon would be a bit familiar. Keeps a lot of his tea supplies there. You see him pull out this large ceramic kettle and places it in the middle of this thing, sort of taking it and shaking it. Oh, here's away empty. Samantha, if you would be a dear. Apologies to ask these of a lady. Would you mind...
Take it to a level. Omen, don't make me fucking do it.
You shut your mouth right there, brother. Would you mind getting some water for us? The sand might be a little trivial, but we can remove it. The waters of the stream, though dirtied, they make for quite a refreshing cup of tea.
Sure, I suppose.
Much appreciated, as he'll reach over and hand over again. It's a pretty large kettle. It's probably about a foot and a half in radius. Pretty dang big, large round stopper on top, a long spout that seems to be almost corked until it pops it open. Just do be careful of your step. You do not wish to fall in. I've not fed the fish today.
I haven't really eaten either. So I will pick up the kettle. I can't click on it though. It's not clickable. I mean, what is this? I can't grab it.
It gets up and grows legs and walks with you.
Oh, that
Goes into your inventory.
That's how you finally get to cast that spell, huh?
In your inventory.
Pick it up and you put it in your pocket.
So I'm walking out with Raziel sort of bundled up close with the kettle or whatever in front of me, trying to point my face away from the sand, and in doing so, sort of pointing it towards Raziel. Do you think there's any hope in this nonsense? His wisdom.
I do not know what this thing he speaks of, a serpent of its own, but his nature seems to be that of an old-lived creature, and there are many that outlived you and myself, even beings older than the great many-faced beast. If there is knowledge to be shared or perspective to be gained, perhaps something from their time, from the times before, perhaps something you can use in Ghana. But let's not fall in the water first. Those fish look hungry, and I'm awfully worm-shaped right now. I wouldn't mind being a bat at this point.
I could turn you into a cat. They might run away. As I open up the kettle and you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the lid of the kettle and just sort of feed it to my hair of snakes as they sort of hold that for me for a second. As I am going to try to both dip the kettle in and cast prestidigitation on the 5-foot square that I am submerging the kettle into to get the sand out of the way.
Sure.
Magic.
As indeed, you're using your simple magics to, almost in your own way, filter the dirty and let in the clean as it swirls and fills. This massive kettle, it grows heavier in your hands, but you're able to maintain it. Your hair able to hold on to a somewhat heavy lid. Again, this thing's a massive ceramic lid, but still strong enough to hold on to it. Just simply watching the water fill. The surface actually starting to spread clean now as your magic undirties this 5-foot square. And really, the only thing you really notice as this happens, the wind blowing your shoulders, Raziel's wind sort of tufting around your shoulders, keeping you and him somewhat protected from the wind, is just the wavering water itself. The really, truly distorted reflection upon the surface you see. You see yourself for a moment, although no real face, just a silhouette, a wavering shape. And the way the water moves, it stretches and contorts. You'd see a crown of serpents wavering like a great, I guess really more like a mane. A body stretched longer and thinner for a moment. For a moment, just the surface, the way the wind blows, the way the water distorts. Your image almost doesn't look like your own. And then the kettle fills. And inside, you can see the water protected from the kettle, protected by the kettle from the wind, is still. And its surface, you can see yourself.
Try to reach up and grab the lid and hold this thing from the bottom and cork it after looking at myself. You know, I must admit, I am thankful you sought me out, Raziel, though I am sure you did not have many options. It has been pleasant, I suppose, in a way, to have someone I know can relate to me.
Truth be told, Samantha, I think seeking you out is almost what got me into this trouble in the first place. But, alas.
Oh, you and so many others.
Nonetheless, I've truly grown attached to this connection. It has been quite interesting to see how you perform as a mortal creature. Well, not the same, I can say for certain. I certainly didn't have friends with you.
Sort of muse
Truly.
amusedly. Oh, go ahead.
Truly makes me wonder what will happen when you return. As you enter back in with the kettle, Mandracon excitedly ushers you over, places this large, like, stone slab in the middle of the table. Oh, good, thank you. Oh, wow, that's very clear water. Look at that. You can see your own face inside. Wonderful, and not a spot of dirt. Thank you, Samantha. And get some heat on here. It might be a moment. I have to make a small fire.
I can do it.
You can do what?
Heat up really quickly. Chat to me.
Truly, very well. Demagon, you've made quite wondrous friends. You, little champion. Show me what you can do, as he ushers and shoves the kettle to your direction, just watching intently.
Yeah, so just hold the kettle with both of my hands. As the bottom just starts to turn a little bit red, as I don't really cause a fire, but just the residual heat from my body just heats He got up pretty quickly. Probably too quickly.
Immediately, the sound of a whistle begins to blow as steam starts to spew out of this spout up and straight up in the air. Mandracon immediately reaches over, like, "Oh, that's enough, my friend!" Grabs onto the handle, hot, 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 hot. Drags it back towards the center. Oh, whew.
Your
Quite
pet
quickly
certainly
indeed.
has become quite a gift.
So it seems. That is quite some firepower you have, my friend. Whew, he starts blowing on his hands. All right, a quickly cup of tea to reinvigorate the spirits. As he would line up some cups for each and every one of you. A whole row of tiny little saucers. He puts some, looks like some small fixtures of leaves, even some small powders into, very carefully, placing them out, measuring them out for each of the group. It seems like he had just enough supply for a handful, and now seeing so many, he sort of has to make do with what little he has. But he seems quite happy to do so until everyone has a small cup full of what looks to be these like herbs and some sort of maybe crystals inside that he pours some hot water into, a little bit at each time, just enough to fill the small saucer, and it all seems to dissolve quite readily with the incredible heat bestowed by Corin. As it seems like each of you has a nice, gentle cup of tea. Even Israka shifts back from her serpentine form, catching Mandracon a bit by surprise, but he offers her a cup and she drinks away at it. I suppose Isaiah would not drink, though. He would definitely say, no, thank you. But yeah, he would drink your cup. Seems like it.
Up, as they say. This time I did not drink in haste, Persephone.
I just try to look at Israel and see if I can just again try to worm through that iron scale defense of his and just ask really nicely if he'll drink just a bit.
Give me a persuasion check.
Fucking do it!
I command you!
I ask nicely and say, please, what do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I grab his lower jaw and I rip it off and I shove the tea down
You
his
don't rip
throat.
it off.
Oh my god, she's molding.
My snakes start falling off my head.
I just pry his mouth open. There. If it gets us closer to our goal. As he just reaches out and takes a cup. And just downs it. Coughs up a bit of
What does it taste
steam.
like?
It tastes very mellow and sweet. It's actually almost like that of mint. Again, this whole place has been sort of, it's not even cold wind. It's like a hot breeze that cuts into your body, almost like it's taking the breath out of you. But here, you feel like the moment this rolls down your throat, the air you breathe becomes so crisp and clean. It seems as if, like for the first time since you came here in this rolling storm, you can breathe. You feel like you can breathe much, much better now.
This is really good tea.
Oh yes, bit of the hand of Resis guides these. My brother is a bit of a craftsman in his own way, but I have learned many trades and many secrets through several lifetimes shared to me by our ancestors. One of which is the delicacies of, well, the beverage or the cook. I have learned many, many delicious recipes, although not have many people to share them with.
Samantha just sort of smiles politely at him, and then just sort of leans over to Corin as he's like saying something to Persephone. Do you have any sugar on you?
And sure, do you
Yes,
need sugar?
yes, please, God, it's so flat.
How much sugar?
Just as much as you're willing to spare.
I guess I'll pull out some sugar from my toolkit.
Oh yeah, you pull out your ship keg, small parcel of sugar, pass it along.
Just sort of
I'll be your sugar daddy.
try to grab it delicately and try to obfuscate the sugar a little bit, and I'll just sort of scoop some into the tea as quickly as I can.
Speaking of cooking, you want to have some sort of a recipe book, would you?
Oh, unfortunately not. All of my knowledge is all we are stored right in here. As he touched the temples of his head and right next to his crown.
I may want to pick your brain then. I mean, probably after we're dealing with all this, as I gesture towards all the sand.
Perhaps Perhaps another time. I've grown a bit defensive against others piquing my brain.
Perhaps different phrasing.
But nonetheless... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so much better.
Just saying, just giggling like towards Tamar because we were in on the scheme.
Big old shit-eating grin on his face.
But nevertheless, a good cup of tea is only the beginning. The reason why I bring you inside is not simply respite from the storm. As I said, the water is required to speak with the spirit, to commune with her. They must be still and calm. As he puts his hand on top of this kettle, and you can see now a bit of steam actually rolls off his palm, and the water actually inside begins to pool up and soft puffs of smoke until it vanishes from the spout. And if he pulls his hand away, he sort of shifts it, and you hear the sound of water sloshing inside. It seems like the thing's no longer burning red hot. And so here we are, inside from the storm, with waters so very still. For those who have ever wished to commune with the serpent, it takes still water, still mind, and a focused gift, a desire. Something one wants more than anything. It is as our father did in the past. He faced against a great challenge, wishing to take the treasure of a titan, and in doing so found himself lacking, found himself without. And in his great desire, his eyes turned towards the surface of a still pond, and within its surface, within its reflection, he found the answer he sought and the tool he needed to become the great champion he is today, a champion that I will soon return to in time. For those of you who wish to commune with this serpent, and I must say, the more of you together, the stronger the will required. It's rather, the stronger the will you will pronounce, I suppose. Words are failing me now, this tea is so relaxing.
Too much moon sugar.
Very relaxing.
In your cups there is liquid, water poured, water cleaned. Look upon them, look upon the reflections within, and hold a question in yourself. For you see, whatever is asked of the serpent is asked of you. A reflection is what she is. Water herself is what she is. And she offers to you only that which you bring her. If you seek introspection and advice, you must bring an answer to a question she has. If you wish for gifts of magic and power, you must bring to her gifts of magic and power. Must be willing to give in order to receive. If you wish for knowledge, secrets of the world, you must come with your own. Though she is old, she is mighty, and she is quite knowledgeable. So he'll sit back, shift his shoulders. Can you all imagine something? I thought in your head, a question must ask. Even if you do not know it, one may lie in your heart.
I wish only to see my master again, my teacher, to show her what I have learned, and to show her the friends that I have made. Thank you, brother. As Tamar sort of stops his weird, that sort of like constant shifting and swaying. Whenever he's motionless, he's never fucking motionless. He's always just sort of being a little bit groovy, as probably the first time you've ever seen him just sit still. As he closes his eyes, puts his hand together, you can feel that bond click into place. Persephone, Swift Hollow, Quildor. As he clears his mind. I'm the only one that's allowed to do this because I have a feature that says I can. Fuck you guys.
I still my mind, you can't. I'm no longer scared or friendly.
So Marco's completely still.
Take this opportunity for yourselves as well, even if this all seems like foolishness. Trust me that it most likely isn't. Samantha says to her Yanti entourage, wanting them to do a little introspection or what have you themselves. Even Israel, the little tiny fucking single bead of tea at the very bottom of the cup.
Drop of water.
I am sure, especially you, must have at least one question you want the answer to.
I do. As he'll take his cup, look down into it, holding a question in your heart. You see Coolers just sort of come to the edge of this table, sitting down, holding his own tea, looking at it.
So we must simply hold still, or what are we doing?
You must simply hold a question in your heart, as I said. And once you do, well, as he reaches forward, takes the lid of the ceramic jug and lifts it up. Once you find yourself steady and still, open your eyes and look to see what you find in this still water, as he motions towards the kettle.
Look into the kettle or look into a cup?
You look into your cup, find a question, close your eyes, then open them and look into the kettle.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So Talo looks at her reflection, and you can see as everything in her sort of relaxes. You see, well, I guess you can't really see, but Corin can, as her legs relax, her torso relaxes, and then her shoulders, her hands, fingers, and then her face. Which I suppose is the most disturbing thing of all, as it reminds you of when, I guess everyone except Corin, met Swift Hollow, where her face is nothing. Her face is blank. As she closes her eyes. And then opens them, and then she looks to the pot. Her face still blank. Almost like a slate. A blank slate.
Fidget.
Okay.
Samantha. Oh, you want to do one?
Oh,
by
no,
one
no,
or all at once?
I don't know. You guys doing a thing? If you're not, we can just jump right in. I'm letting you guys have a moment.
Samantha, almost in an interesting contrast, just after she addresses her Isaraka and Vistas and Israel, sort of looks at Raziel for a moment and flashes back to that night in the library where she is just drinking and eating and screaming, trying to find answers to a whole swath of questions that she has that, of course, he doesn't have an answer for and I don't have an answer for. And she just reaches past that, through all of that chaff, and grabs onto one. And when she grabs a hold of that one question, it is like her whole body just sort of tenses up, just like it's all like a snake, all just muscle. Her arms sort of tense up, her neck tenses up, her face locks into this almost cut from stone like appearance as her eyes close. Her snakes slow down and stop moving and just sort of hover in place, rigid, as she almost turns statuesque, like she has a few times before, but never to this degree. And she just sort of centers herself on that one question, repeating in her mind over and over again, before she also looks into the kettle.
Corin kind of goes through a few different questions in his head, but he also knows that asking some sort of godly figure or fae creature for knowledge just seems kind of against the spirit of Ayun. As I'm thinking of Ayun, he kind of giggles to himself, and he has a question. He doesn't seem as still as the rest of the party, but he's definitely focused on this one question as he looks into it.
And Persephone does struggle a little bit, and I guess in her moment of self-reflection, she's realizing she really hates being asked if she has any questions or if she wants anything. But looking at her friends all around her and looking down to her cup and thinking of the friends that aren't here with us, she begins to figure out something that she wants. And then she looks into the kettle.
All right. And after a few moments of silence, unless Tamarkon's going to burst out.
After everything goes quiet, Tamar just slowly opens his eyes and looks into the kettle.
You guys look inside. In that moment, in these perfectly pristine still waters, you see it's almost circling around the brim, perfectly spherical around this small kettle. Just enough light inside this room spilling out from the outside storm, now almost completely silent in this moment from you. You see your reflection staring back inside. The wind falls, there's no sound, just stillness. And then the water stirs as you see these snakes from the edge of Samantha's still hair spread and almost completely uncover this reflection until the shapes blur together and the kettle stirs, immediately shifts in place. You see Coolor immediately blink out of his own trance and grab onto the edge of the kettle as sunlight starts to spin and turn, and the water immediately, like a vortex, spins out of the mouth, I think it's the top of this kettle, and sort of reaches out and splashes against you guys. This very lukewarm, almost like room temperature touch, still becomes nothing, empty like air, and then it pulls backwards, and you feel this immense sense of weightlessness. As in this moment, Quildor's defensive reaction as a guardian pulls to hold the kettle still and tries to pull it away from you guys, and in doing so, the water misses him. As Tamarkon, Persephone, Samantha Deus, Corin, Swift Hollow, all of you are splashed in this reach of water and pulled inside of the kettle. The world around you shifts, the light around you once were in becomes smaller and thinner like a tunnel until you all fall and splash against this ever-present body of water. You feel like you should be crushed, completely contained inside this small body, but the moment you feel the pressure containing around you, like a breath of fresh air, you are withheld, sinking down into a body of water. Cold now water rushing over your faces, running through your fur, your hair, your mouth fills in a gulp, and you feel that same cool rush, that minty freshness of the tea you drank running down through the rest of your lungs as what should be choking you is just as thin and breathable as air. And you descend very quickly and then gently, slowly, till it looks to be the bottom of a great, cold ravine. You find yourselves completely submerged in water, able to breathe, able to see, save for what looks to be a flat face, a long dome curvature surrounding you on all sides, and a small opening just at the very top shedding light down from above, wavering like the sun in a dark ocean. And in front of you in this place, you find yourself standing on what looks to be a small shape, an altar of sorts, almost. Is it real? Is it just simply a gathering of stones? Hard to tell as your eyes are blinking against this wavering air. Your body's strangely light and maneuverable, able to swim through the water. And just before you, just north of this shrine you seem to stand upon, there is a strange reflection to at least one of you. A large, tall seat, embedded into the stone, whether it was grown there, carved from the earth surrounding you, or otherwise simply risen there. A tall, almost looks like it's made of some dark green, emerald, jasmine color. And something, a wavering shape, a reflection in the surface of the water that now grows still, convenes there. A serpent, long and winding, its tail reaching down the edge of this throne, spilling out across the ground and wavering in the water before it. Its body sit up neatly, shoulders pressed back, as expected of a ruler, hand resting upon what looks to be a skull upon each armrest. A pair of eyes, not that of a serpent necessarily, more that of a human, staring down through a flat humanoid face, watching you and on her hair, spilling down to her shoulders, writhing and swimming in this contained ocean, one might say, these dark depths, is the mane of serpents. As this creature looks down upon you, head sort of slightly tilted, more, I guess you'd say, amused than concerned or scared.
Welcome to my palace, wondrous guests. Tell me, what is it that you desire?
I look across back to my friends, take a step forward. Hello, my old teacher. It has been a while. I'm sorry that we have not gotten to speak. I know that I never listened to your lessons too closely, but I always valued your wisdom. And in his parts, I did learn from it to take up the role that I was given. I think I have grown much, but I have a simple question. Those who stand by my side, and from what I have learned, am I worthy of a chance now? Or am I to play the fool?
You see her head tilting as she looks at you. And as you say that, this familiar tone you have, you do see her expression sort of tilt for a moment, her brow raise and then fall. And then she looks at you at the moment like a slight wide-eyed realization, a moment of recognition. Before her eyes turn to the rest of the group, falling to the small man standing in front, sort of wavering in the water.
Turn, just give
And-
the group a smile.
And what of you, little one?
Actually, I have a bunch of questions now that I'm here, but I'm pretty sure they'll count towards my one question. I would ask you if I can only get one question, but I think that would also count towards that one question. So I guess the question that I have is something that I don't even think you would know. See, the Ayun, my goddess, believes that knowledge should be earned, and asking some sort of creature like you would probably go against that. But I don't think I could earn this. Actually, maybe I can earn this. Either way, what does the Silent Mother sound like?
An odd question.
You see her eyebrows do sort of raise in surprise at that. Turning back to the one behind Cora and Persephone, now finding your water wings floating in this water before gently landing. And yeah, seeing this image, Persephone, it is eerily similar to what you experienced the night before. A tall, winding serpent, I guess, really serpentine humanoid that once clutched you in its claws and demanded a question from you. It's almost like looking in a mirror.
Um, I'm not so great at this sort of thing, but there is someone who I'm trying to help who's been corrupted by an entity known as the Sovereign. I guess my one question is, can he be helped? Or is this entity's hold too strong?
Snakes sort of swim through the water before they turn to face the silent elf in the back. This almost like very somewhat familiar, almost like death holding gaze looking straight onto you, Miss Assassin.
And what yearns in your heart?
Rotalo, like, looks at her and then her eyes flicker to the group. How might I serve her better?
And you can see your eyes immediately narrow at that mention. You can see your teeth grit. Snake sort of all turned now. Eyes focusing down at the one at the center. Resting now, finally finding your footing here in this underwater, almost like prison, you'd see, Samantha, as your very own reflection, now made clear in these waters, stares down at you.
And what would we want?
Looking at this entity on this throne, Samantha just feels a mixture of anger and confusion. She moves off of this platform towards the stairs, never breaking eye contact with this reflection. I came here with a lack of understanding of myself, and I look and I see myself. How am I supposed to know what it is I want if I have to find the answers within myself? It is almost ironic. I wanted to ask you why I'm here. And now, looking at you, I want to ask myself why I'm here. Your throne is beneath the waves, decorated in skulls. You're surrounded by the abyss. There is no sun on your scales. Not even attendants, let alone friends. You are alone. By the moment, I have more understanding of you. But I do not see myself in this. I do not want to see myself in this. I don't even need to ask you anymore. I want my power. I want what was taken from me. But what you are, what I am seeing, I want nothing to do with this. I don't want to be trapped in some prison. You sit on your throne, high and mighty, doling out knowledge for a price. I need no answer from you. can see. I am past this.
And so you hold no desire in your heart. Nothing you would ask of myself. Nothing you would yearn for. You seek only answers from yourself. To know yourself. Is that right?
There are many things I need answers for. But I have put in the work before. I have my allies for those things. I only seek to understand myself better, and in looking at this reflection, I see so clearly where I do not want to be. If you are not me, if you are your own, and with the utmost sneer, imitation, then I would ask, out of curiosity's sake, what you are.
The answers you all seek, I cannot speak. I cannot give as of yet. These lessons are not meant to be shared by words. They're meant to be shown. You seek knowledge, understanding of yourself, of each other, secrets, knowledge from beyond. Know yourselves now. Know yourselves intimately.
As the water around you begins to bubble, and you see, strangely enough, shapes begin to form, almost invisibly so, as if things that were once standing still begin to move. And it almost looks like the water itself is running at you, pulling itself out of the nothingness, until you realize that it's reflections, almost like these shapes, humanoid in form, are materializing from their stillness. The actual reflections that you see around them, the rocks, the wavering waters, the throne you stand upon, and even the images of yourselves beginning to appear one by one. As I'm gonna need y'all to roll some initiative.
Initiative!
Pull my bar out from behind my ear, look at the party. Don't you? She does not give answers easily. Always Rito says this one.
Did it just look like relative reflections?
It looked like, again, when they were still completely invisible, and then as they start moving, it looks like people made of like mirrored glass. You can see the reflections around them shifting and suddenly realize, oh, there's people and they're running at us.
Which one looks like me?
No, there's like people.
All of them? All of them? Just all of them?
They look like people, they don't look like us specifically.
No, they just look like reflections. Okay.
Like reflections.
They look like a pale imitation of people.
Something like that.
So tall Persephone, you can get a little bondo to the initiative.
Bondo.
I'm already at the top.
Bondo. What is it, a D4?
Yeah.
I'm too good.
As you'd feel your instincts of Talo. Danger immediately stirs in the water. Behind your ear, Temercon, staff in your hand, buzzing and shaking alive, coming to life the moment that you feel the danger arrive. As Swift Hollow, unless there's anything to do with your little reaction, because you go first again.
Yep. Oh, reaction move. That is, yeah. Swift Hollow bounced down the stairs quickly. Already as, I guess it's the start of my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Ho 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 ho. Funny how that works. As, yeah. as effortlessly and gracefully, and she just sort of brings her hands around her waist, and instantly 2 daggers seem to almost materialize. As a bonus action, she sends them flying. Feeling
Alright.
the dangerous, this dangerous situation, but also knowing that she is the danger.
As your hands take to your daggers and throw them, you see this thing running almost robotically at you, sort of shimmers in its space, and its form twists immediately. Its head seeming to like break open in the back, almost like the mirrored shards have been pulled away a layer, and you see that layer flow from behind it, as its form seems to suddenly shift and shimmer until it takes on a familiar shape. As give me that attack roll.
Foolish! I am superior. As yeah, daggers empowered by a very powerful magic, a blessing of the Summer Queen. Two daggers are being sent at myself? Question mark?
Seems like it. Ooh, as your dagger goes flying through the air, this thing expertly turns itself as the blade cuts into its side, but with your slight adjustment of your throw, seems like you just barely make a strike into this thing's body, dealing, a hearty amount of damage. What was that, 36? Nice.
Oh, I know of... Well, assuming that this thing... I guess, is it before or after I unleash my daggers that this thing turns into me?
It seems like as you're throwing your dagger at it, it immediately responds and transforms into you the moment the dagger left your hand, but before it hit it.
Okay. Well, good thing I don't... For some reason, leather armor doesn't reinforce vital spots. Yeah, as daggers catch necks. Yeah, as with my main action, I hold my action. Readying an attack. On your call to my god.
What was that?
Oh.
On your god.
Just saying, on your call.
Oh.
As, she seems to be tensing up. She has her daggers ready, and she's looking towards you. Synergy.
Alright.
Yeah, that's what I said.
As these creatures are rushing, one of them moves a bit faster, and then faster and faster, as it seems to be sprinting straight towards you, Tamarcon, and as it does, its body seems to suddenly shift in form, as it seems to grow longer, bits and pieces of it flaking and tearing away, until you realize it seems to be growing this strange metallic facsimile of fur, as this thing comes sprinting in your direction and leaps with tremendous strength up onto the ledge, just at the edge of this thing. You can see its hands start to move, and the material that seems to form them seem to distort and stretch as this long, almost like 10-foot or so bar reaches out from its body, and it swings down at you from a distance.
Oh shit.
As 3 attacks are coming your way.
Can't look close up for that guy.
What's that? Oh, you want to look close up? As it looks like a mirrored reflection of you, although it doesn't seem to have that much of a mouth.
Oh yeah.
As you got 3 bar attacks coming your way. Bah! Missing through the air, through the bubbling water. Swimming through the air above you. And
Bar kings on bar. Nice hollow metal sound.
Certainly. As you see, actually, when part of the bar hits the ground, there's a solid dispersion of water, and then you can see part of it start to waver and become liquid before reforming back again. All right, as it seems like, yeah, that's about all he'll do. As this guy here will come running as well, and seemingly moving faster as well. His body seeming to break off, his knees seeming to contract and like almost compress down into his feet, as his form seems to become strangely smaller in size, as he seems to be sprinting straight towards you, Corin. This do metallic sound rushing through the water, leaping up to get straight into your face.
Well, that's not scary. That's just adorable.
As its hands hold out to the side, and you see a stretch of metal curl between its hands and form this large, almost like spade-like axe, as it swings 3 times at you, my dude. Acha! Ooh, a 13. Don't think that'll do it. Acha! A 19?
That won't hit.
Slicing into your side, and cha! Ooh, a 28. Ooh, that did a number on you.
Button.
As cutting into your body, this thing seems to be rearing up for another attack. As Tamarcon, it comes to you, although you find yourself able to breathe, your body is submerged in water as you will be engulfed in some underwater combat.
Ooh. Feeling that weight when I bring up the bar to deflect away its blow, it seems like I'm slowed where this thing is not. As needing to find something a bit more, as Tamar will just wheel the bar up in front of him as a small bit of magic will course over his body, as on his shoulder and around his waist, armor and hair begins to glow as his shoulder starts to grow and expand, and his large pauldron with a strange monkey, almost a screaming monkey face forms, as he's gonna cast a little bit of that Shield of Faith on himself.
Nice. As Tamarkan, magic crawls across your body. This one staying before you, body starts to bulge in strange shapes, almost like you seem like it's sprouting its own strange facsimile of your armor.
Can't strike each other. That duty is cold. I jump off to the right, start heading my way towards Swift Hollow. Oh, am I swimming?
You're swimming.
Swimming. Oh no, I don't have a swim speed. Oh,
Certainly don't.
No.
You spend twice as much movement to move underwater. You'll have disadvantage with attacks, except unless they are a spear, dagger, javelin, and I think trident. As you are fighting underwater.
Yeah. I'm going to just try to whirl my body around in the water, getting slowed a bit as I just jab out towards the side, towards the strange fake Corin over there, trying to bop him in the side as the bar extends to its 10-foot length, striking at disadvantage.
As you swing your bar around, this thing turns its head toward you, and you see immediately its form shift in shape until boom, 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 it shifts into you. Give me an attack roll.
Ooh, 16 to hit. As I spin some key, knowing myself, knowing how handsome devil I am, and in combat, almost untouchable. Gonna need more power than that to strike, as I'm gonna spend 2 key points to add +4 to that, 20 to hit. Do I have my bar out? On
You pulled your bar out.
No, does this guy have his bar out? Or is he still
Seems like it.
shovel?
The moment
Alright,
it seems like you transform.
I've spurted 3 key points then. Adding 6 to it. 22 to hit.
22 to hit. What's your AC, Tamarkan?
Oh no, does he have his armor out too?
Seems like it.
Oh no!
Oh
no! Spending 4 key. Can I spend 4 at a time?
No, only the 3.
You can only use 3. I don't spend any fucking key points then.
As immediately the bar comes swinging towards him, it seems like in part of the same movement it uses to transform into you, almost like a reflexive transformation. You can see the bar that immediately forms in his hand go up and over and swing down on top of you as he gets one attack against you with its long, reachy boy. Boom! Ooh.
As I bring up the bar, thankfully, a bar already in place after the strike to deflect it away. As I just take a short step downwards and just try to whip my leg out, just try to strike the side of the one in front of me, getting its attention as well. Ooh, 29 to hit.
As that'll connect.
That's no crit damage, just a 7 to connect on that one, as I will try to send a bit of ki.
Ooh.
Striking through its body. See if I can stun him before the, as I turn my head to Swift Hollow slowly.
Yeah, as Swift Hollow's seeing the bar connect.
Get the con save.
Let's see.
Fail.
Ah.
Hey!
Yeah!
Not
Unfortunately, it's at normal, because
see,
this is actually out of my dagger range, but...
The moment you connect with this thing and your energy pulses through it, his body shivers and shakes, and then immediately turns back into its seemingly less threatening form.
Yeah, 2 daggers get sent out at him. capitalizing onto my con's opening.
Ooh, you would not be able to reach it from there. Well,
Yeah, I know. I know. It'd be a normal question mark. He's stunned.
Well. The thing
Oh, is
about
that?
underwater
Oh, wait.
combat,
Underwater combat.
Can't throw outside normal
range.
Oh no.
Uh,
Okay. I alter reality. I move slightly towards to my con, and then.
Sure.
Oh shit.
You would have moved because you knew.
Wait, you actually let me do. Okay.
Go for
Thanks,
it. I know
God.
you would.
Ooh woo hearts, kisses.
Throw your daggers at him.
Oh, it'd be so nice us letting us take back all our actions.
Fuck. Of us. Oh look, we're dumb. Wow.
As that'll connect.
You got a
As
D4
you seem
to hit
like
if you need it.
as this blade goes flying, both these blades, I'm assuming, go flying through the air,
Yep.
right?
Sending both.
Yeah. Oh, is it both or just one? Looks like just one.
Should be
That's the D4s for the damage because it's 1D4. Okay. Anyway, you see the blades.
Oh,
go
poop. It
flying
should
through
be
the-
another D4. Okay, wait.
There-
Actually, that was for
there you
the.
go.
Okay, it's still one anyways. Sorry,
blades go
God,
flying
I'm
through the
messing
air,
everything up.
And it seems like this creature, now that it's returned to a seemingly normal state, is much more easily struck as both blades strike heartily into its body, doing, ooh, mamma mia, a pretty good amount of damage. Now let's bah, nope, bah. There we are. As the thing gets stabbed with two blades stuck in its body, it sort of reels back, trying to reconvene its form, but it seems like it's unable to do so. It's trying to shift and shape to new forms and faces, but seems like it is hardly stunned in place.
So,
As
slowly,
it's
sort of,
shaping daggers reappears with all his hands.
as it loses its shape and starts to lose concentration on me, Kamar just takes a couple steps back, sort of slowly hopping backwards through the water and landing slightly, starts to meander his way over to Swift Hollow, giving you a nice little grin and nod. It could only be one to that. Okay, two at this point. As he takes up a defensive position next to Swift Hollow.
It's the battle of self-reflection, but that doesn't. But they're all of our reflections. I suppose we can all attack them.
Is that me? Hunter?
All right. As this creature to the far east begins to circle around, watching you guys carefully, you see as it moves here, still keeping it, I guess, its general blank face in the direction towards Swift Hollow, its form begins to shape and turn until it too is transformed into everyone's favorite little assassin. But as it begins to move up and around, Tamar Khan gets in the way for a moment. As it's running, you see its hands come together and grab what looks to be a pair of daggers, and it seems to whip back one and throw at you, Swift Hollow, just shooting it right about here. Getting a big old, looks like a piece of its own mirrored body flying off like a blade. 27.
Ow.
And it makes it about
Digs
here.
into my armor.
Tamar Khan gets in the way. It throws another one at Tamar Khan.
Damn, my AC is too high. As I
Yeah,
deflect
just drop
away
your,
the
just drop your
bu-
concentration
the
real quick.
Even dropping concentration still would be enough.
Oh no. As it keeps
Spin the
running
ball.
forward, and it sees... There we are. Yep. Last creature in its range throws a blade up at Samantha. 15. Flying through the water.
Don't even move.
As that becomes its turn. Alrighty. As this creature in the back rears itself up, you can see its form shifting and twisting in the water until its head seems to almost split open as if someone had blasted it with some sort of concussive magical force. And those broken ribbons begin to curl and twirl in the air, its body thinning, more feminine in shape, as it takes on the form of a familiar serpent, as it holds up its hands in your direction. And 3 bolts of this strange mirrored substance, like bolts of metal, come flying out of it, flying straight at you, Samantha. 3 coming. 22.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Stabbing like a blade. Next one. Ooh! Cutting deeper through your armor, dealing only 11 damage, but still hitting quite heartily. Last one. Ooh, another crit. As 3 blades stabbing into your body, leaving these small mirrored shards where you can see your own reflection in. As this thing seems to sit back in the water, kicking its feet up ever so slightly, making it about what looks to be maybe about 10 feet in the air, as it seems to hover almost angelically holding more blades in its hand, almost like if that magical force you conjure was being given physical shape, jagged and ruthless. Corin, underwater, a little hard to swing your axe. Fighting Tamarkan, it looks like. What do you do?
I've already fought this before. I know how this goes. As Karin is going to
Round 2.
swim around this creature, getting away from 2 of his own party members as his hair starts to grow bright and the veins across his arm start to glow, seemingly visible now as he will go into a rage. Also, get off a bit of a desert aura for this guy.
All right. Fire washing through the water, bubbling and boiling it all around him. It seems like it washes over him. Not quite as potent, I don't believe.
Because he's fully submerged in water, so should be resistant. And then I'm going to grab his tail and try to knock him prone. Like, whip him down.
As give me that athletics check. See, ooh, okay, I don't think you can make that at all. As you just pull on his tail, his feet come up, and his body hits the ground hard before sort of floating off the ground slightly, as he is submerged in the water, but he's definitely knocked prone.
I'm going to try and put on my weight on his neck, as I'm also going to grapple him, make sure he can't stand back up.
All right. Give me that athletics check. Let's see if we can do it again. Okay, yeah, well, there it is. As you easily enough catch onto this creature you've defeated before, slip him off his feet by his tail, and the moment he hits the ground, grab him by his neck and pin him as he is held down.
So that'll be me this turn.
All right. Big ol' hand.
I gotta get resorted.
Oh, whoopsie. I got you. There we go. Persephone. You can see these mirrored creatures rushing towards you, each one seeming to take the shape of one of your allies.
Okay, well that should be fun. As Persephone, and we're following underwater combat rules, right?
Oh yeah, but you can breathe.
All right.
It seems.
Okay.
Which is pretty important for your ability to cast spells.
Yeah.
In terms of like more than
Alright.
once and before drowning.
Persephone is going to give one click of her boots, doubling her speed. And I'm going to start by... Okay, Persephone is going to start by flying up and above Samantha. So I'm just going to be 5 off the ground. And then I'm going to go towards... Yeah, I'm going to go up 5 feet. You see, I forgot another thing I wanted to do was a bonus action, and then I clicked my souls. But I'm more committed to movement than the other thing.
You're kicking your little feet, swimming a little faster. Still not a swimmer yourself in this form, but able to move quick enough to compensate.
Yeah, and I'm just going to move forward a bit, and I'm going to test the waters, so to speak, and use my action to Thorn Whip this vague reflection in front of me.
All right, as you whip out with your Thorn Whip at this thing, its form immediately shifts and shimmers until it becomes an eerily familiar shape, almost like a bright, cheery face that looks like it should have a smile on it, but there's no mouth to smile with.
That's actual nightmare fueled.
As the whip goes right above its shoulder, you see it dodges, and with its free hand, its fingers curl and twist, and it seems that it turns the magic back at you. As give me another Thorn Whip, Persephone.
Uh-oh. I hit myself.
As it seems like with this thing's reaction and copying your magic, let's see, plus, oh, that's going to hit anyway, yep. As this thing reaches out to the air, whoosh, catches onto your body, and pulls you closer 10 feet. Whoop! As you'll take 14 piercing damage.
Okay, we can do this up close. That's fine. That's okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. That's gonna be my turn.
All right. As Samantha, your party seems to be dispersing, fighting these things. Off in the throne, you see this giant reflection of who or what you once were, just simply watching her many eyes scouting over the area as this combat takes place. But her eyes seem to be solely fixed on you. As what are you doing?
And my eyes are solely fixed on her. as I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick up my chalice and give me a big old scoop of dum dum juice and go with my gut. Because we rarely get to do stupid shit, and I'm gonna do stupid shit. As she calls out to fight, reflections of yourself. Samantha just getting these 3 bolts in her side, the pain getting through her senses. One of her snakes sort of looking in this thing's direction at this mirror image. But she cannot help but ignore it. As... Where are you at? You are a bonus action. Look at that. Fine. As feeling that that anger and confusion and now turning into resentment with all of these things summoning up around us, Samantha just grabs a hold of her magic, points her scepter not towards her reflection, but instead towards her reflection. Summoning up that black serpent on her arm and throwing it forward towards this massive serpent on the throne.
All right. You see it fly through the air, wrap around her body. She looks at it, but she doesn't seem to stop it, as it seems your magic takes hold.
As I will cast bonus action Hex on her. Hexing, I don't know, I guess her strength. And then just sort of moving my scepter in front of myself. That Eldritch Bow comes into being, and I just line up the shot with her face and just try to put 3 rounds into her head.
All right, give me those shots. Ooh.
Each one
as that
hits
first
is
one
forcing her skull into the back of her chair.
As the first one goes flying forward, she just sort of reaches up her hand, touches it, and sort of pushes, almost like the bolt slows and guides itself away. But then the 2 come following speedily after it and crash into her face, her entire head seeming to explode and disperse until she's just a neck. And then her head starts to reconvene, the second blast blasting her again and reconvening, as if her body is just composed of the water that surrounds. As she does seem to get hit, and she does seem to take some good damage. Let's see, 17,
10 more on the crit.
Ooh.
And one more, another 3 on the third. I forgot to click the hex thing. I haven't used hex in so long.
I know, right? Yep, seems like this thing, almost like something you destroy immediately, the image dispersing into nothing as water before it seems to reconvene after the strike. Her eyes are closed when it reforms her face, and she opens them at you. And she just seems to stare down, still somewhat expressionless.
I'm not seeing any reaction, but seeing that her shots had some effect on this thing. There's just a slight sort of smirk on the side of her face. She just conjures up that bow again. That's it for... That's my bonus action. Yeah, that's it for me.
Alrighty. As this creature that was heartily wounded finally makes its way up to your side, Swift Hollow. You can see it reaching down to its sides and pulling out a small pair of blades. As each one is going to come cutting into your sides like small daggers, but they move incredibly fast. As, 12, 24, and 19.
Ow. No, I guess Mirror Swift Hollow knows all the places my armor isn't, cheater. Yeah, Swift Hollow deflects one, but isn't able to redirect the others.
As you will take 13 slashing damage.
Also noticing that there's no really, how would you say, technique to these blows. She's just stabbing.
It seems like it's trying to mimic you, but whereas you are aiming for these vital points, its blades can only try and follow suit in reflection.
Mm-hmm. A pale imitation. A pale imitation. As, yeah, seeing her somewhat bleed, but seeing it's not that bad.
Alright. As this creature next to you, Persephone, that wheels you forward, that strange metallic vine that yanks you forward, whips around in the air, sort of folds itself down into a single mass as it begins to swing down. Almost looks like it's whipping you again, but this time there's no thorns that cut or pierce into you. Instead, the thorns retract and it becomes a large, like a solid winding bar, but flexible like that of a vine, as it just beats the shit out of you, or certainly tries to. Woo. 25.
What the fuck? Yes, that's
Woof.
it.
17 bouncing off
that
your
one.
armor and shield. And woof, poof. Seems as if it's moving with the same quickness as you are, able to try and swiftly catch into you, but not able to fully effect. And then you can see immediately its body twist and turn, and one extra strike comes swinging in. Almost as if this thing is strangely quick. A boom! But still not hitting you.
Nope.
As comes back to you, Swift Hollow, you can see this creature on the throne shift itself ever slightly. You can see her move her hand up to her face and wash away what looks to be the remnants of some of the broken throne behind it that got struck by the magic, sort of cleaning itself off as it looks down to you, Samantha. Again, no real expression on its face before its mouth just opens up and it speaks.
There are questions lying in your heart, serpent. Tell me, answer me this. If you are not me, then what are you? For I see a mortal. I see a Yuan-Ti. Is that not what you are?
Swift Hollow.
Yeah, Swift Hollow takes a moment, able to sort of deaden the pain mentally, as she takes a moment to focus, observing Mirror Swift Hollow and also knowing her weakness. Goes for her vital points. Goes for my own vital points. Wow, that's weird. Let's see, 2 daggers. One is a, sort of a feint, but also lethal, as the second one comes down for a Mirror Swift Hollow. That is always a bonus action to aim and stab. 25.
Ooh. Let's see, I'm double check some. How does your aim work? What does it do to your speed?
Sets it to
You
0,
can't
can't move. Can't
Gotcha.
move.
As you level yourself completely still before this creature, you see it too shifts its feet across the ground, and for a moment both of you are statuesque still. It seems to mimic your ability to move, and then your blades come swinging in. As it tries to defend itself, you do cut deftly into it, although I don't think you can sneak attack.
I do, I have advantage.
Oh, because you said you
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
you certainly cut into this creature. Ooh,
Let's have
cutting
the first
deep
blade.
into its form.
Yeah, as the first blade sort of gets underneath Mirror Swift Hollow's studded leather arm before the second one comes underneath her armpit. Going for places that she knows definitely isn't armored.
It just feels weird cutting into this thing. It almost feels like you're cutting into solid metal at first, but then once you find the groove, you glide your swift blade straight through it until this thing seems to be mostly like held together by ribbons, like long strands of metal holding itself up but failing in other parts.
Yeah, Swift Hollow flourishes her blades, and that'll be her turn.
All right. How about you, boy? Oh, you're stunned. Poor baby. How about you, boy? This guy held on the ground trying to twist and turn, contort its body to fit itself into a better position. Seems like it's unable to do so, as instead it just simply reaches out and holds up this long bar and tries to sweep it under your feet. Little you. Actually... Nah, yeah, he just tried to sweep out their bar from beneath your feet, trying to swing his big old bar to knock you off, as he's gonna swing some reaches at you, little Corin. All with disadvantage, but still a swinging. Brr. Oof. Misses. Swings again. Oof. Oof. Misses again. One more swing trying to bop you. Oof. Ooh. Unable to do so. Bar swishing and swimming, stirring the water around you.
Come on, other Tamar. Get it together.
As Tamarkon, seems like you're back on your feet, ready to move. Your enemy's held in place, but there's still more to fight.
Yeah, as Tamar will pull himself back up the stairs ever so slightly, looking at Samantha and the serpent. Conversation with a big grin on his face. He said, well, the words different. Almost always true. As he will wheel his body around as 2 small little glints of metal appear in the palm of his hand and then fire outwards towards these 2 creatures. A little bit of Horde Breaker little bit of darts. They don't get disadvantage. Yeah.
Nice. As Dart comes flying at the big guy, disadvantage, or I guess with advantage, holding him in place. The second one immediately sees your action. Its body shifts to try and transform into a more defensive creature. Trying to hold itself up.
27 to hit on Big Boy as it strikes in with sneak attack as a little bit of ki also infused within that strike. Doing a little death strike. Ooh, just one.
Nice.
He's my monk weapon.
Catches to its body, digging deep.
Second shot. Let's see if I can hit Tamar. Tamar, don't hit me back. 23 to hit is just gonna hit. I have 23 AC right now.
As it spins its metallic bar to try to deflect it.
That's bad.
Oh, is it bad? Is it more?
No. Hey, no, it means he can catch it.
As the bar comes, as the thing comes flying in this direction, you see him twist his bar around, trying to defend it, but the blade just slips right past the spinning bar. And if that connects, catches to his body, only doing 8 damage.
Yeah, they're imitations, not perfect copies.
Does it seem like it took its effort a bit to transform?
It seems like it had to forcefully react to your attack.
All right, good deal. As Tamar, with a bit of energy, it seems like the bubbles start to form around his feet. The water starts to disperse a bit around him, as it almost seems like his body's expending wind. Step in the wind underwater. He's gonna get a little dash as he is shooting across, basically diving right up over Samantha, just gaining a tiny little bit of height. And leave it to you, Samantha. Believe in you. As I go diving towards other Samantha, as I can only make it to there, but that's okay. As I pull out the bar and strike downwards on fake Samantha. One less imitation to be in her way. Striking on down. With disadvantage, though. Come on! Oh, only 4. I'm gonna spend. I don't know. Fuck it. 3 key points to get a +6 on that. 20 to hit. Is that enough to hit a Samantha?
As you know, as you're running forward to swing this bar, this thing sees you rushing. You know its body is gonna be shifting. As it would turn into you.
That's all right. I got it out of Samantha before.
As it swings down to the air, lifts up its bar, and catches it, deflecting it away, spinning around behind him.
I'm so good at these. I face off against myself once again.
Alrighty.
Not in defensive stance.
As this creature finally wakes up, you did. As this creature that just took a dart to its body immediately reaches up, pulls it out, and looks at it before it simply drops it to the ground and looks down towards you, Swift Hollow. As it begins to make its way somewhat closer, it swims about, following after Temercon, about 10 feet up in the air. Where are you? Bop. And you can see, reaching into its foremost, pulling out some of these tufts of metallic fur, it draws out these long, thin, almost look like needles in its hand, but as it reels back and throws them, the water pulses, boom, as these things are thrown with quite a amount of force, as Swift Hollow, you're going to have 3 of these metallic shots coming your way.
Hot.
Let's see. Boo! 17 through the water.
Nope.
10 going through the water. Jesus, guys. 14. They're rolling backwards. As
Swift
you'll make
Hollow's
it, but
able to deflect them off, thankfully.
You get the secret end if you can turn them all into tomorrow at once.
It's just the orgy end, and we don't have the
Yeah.
18 plus passive.
That's how you unlock. That's how you get the pacifist ending, huh?
Inner peace.
Sexy ending.
as this creature before you, Temercon, sees you, you can see immediately its form starts to shift before it looks around. And it seems to watch as your body vaults very quickly through an expulsion of air, it sounds like, through the water before its form begins to slowly but surely melt back into that. of Samantha. Before it pulls up these darts, and seeing you rushing to protect your friend, immediately turns and drops these, I guess again, physical bolts of magic given like sharp, jagged form down on top of you, as it will try to launch them straight at you. Boo! Ooh, a 20.
Deflect myself easily enough to just slam against the bar. Deflect it away.
23. Ooh.
Just barely connect, though. Get me.
Okay, as another jagged shard comes flying at you.
That one will not hit, though.
And immediately after it does so, it will pull itself up a little higher into the water, seemingly moving with a bit of grace, or at least trying to. See, it's gonna go 30, so...
5 feet up, because I didn't get above Samantha. Do a blue 5, how about that? As she tries to escape my reach, Bar is gonna come swinging on out, trying to catch her in the side. She flees. A 19, gonna spend. I know their tricksy ways now, and I know how to gauge myself as I spend 2 key points. Bring that up to a 23.
As you would see, it tries to shift back into Tamarkan, but knowing its tricky ways, able to gauge it just enough to strike down and catch it.
In the side of its body, and spending some key to strike up into it as well, trying to stun it. Disrupt that form.
Let's see. Oh fuck, I'm dumb. As you strike into this thing, you do feel this thing try to refract some of the magic against you, but it does seem like it has some sort of defense against this. I almost forgot because I'm stupid. Give me some of that. Bah! Ooh. As that creature will somehow reflect it. Seem like the magic that enters this creature's body gets met by some sort of energetic force that is created inside and pushes your bar away. As it will go a little higher into the water. As that's going to be its turn. Corin, holding this Tamarkan on the ground. Seems like there's Tamarkans almost everywhere now.
Corin's going to pull out his shovel and just look down at the Tamarkan and just say, do you ever get the feeling of deja vu? He's going to try and bring down the shovel on its face.
Peck noises get really loud.
As this thing...
Normal.
He did. As this thing comes swinging down, you see it looks up to you, and then immediately its form starts to contract and congeal, as it immediately, on defense, seeing your attack, tries to turn back into a little Corin.
How dare, but I'm still on top of him.
You certainly are.
Yeah, that's why I am a halfling.
You are! Do your thing, baby. Hey! As you will connect and you feel your bar, or you feel your shovel crash into this thing's face, and it bounces off with a tremendous amount of force as you do make hearty connection with this thing. But you would see that this thing's flesh is not as easily as torn and ripped as the others. This thing's tough. This thing's as tough as you are.
Huh, that's cheating. Do it again.
As I don't think that'll connect, catching into its form, it sort of deflects a bit of your axe away. Doesn't have as many defenses, it seems like neither do you. But it does seem like it's just enough to defend itself.
And then as my bonus action, and seeing that it is me and is as hardy as me, I know that flames will do absolutely nothing. Does he seem like to be in a rage?
He seems very angry. He seems very angry. You don't feel the heat around you, but he does seem to be just about as angry as you.
Angry.
As you look at Fawn's face, you see anger.
Oh my god, stop zooming him.
Let's see, wondering how much of me he is. I will release a bit more of that fiery aura. See if I can burn him even a little bit.
As the water boils around you, you see this thing boiling as well, turning red hot, but this time not singeing as it did before. Instead, it seems to be holding its own.
This is cheating. This isn't fair. That's my turn.
All right. As Persephone is still facing off against your duplicate, it seems like its attacks are a little more heavier than yours. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, I see Tamarkan make his way across and fight with the Samantha, Samantha, back and forthy. And it went a little too high, so Persephone is going to try to fly a bit after it. Knowing full well I'm going to hit myself, maybe.
It definitely seems like this thing's going to try and bap you. The moment you make it about 15 or so feet away, it just swings through the air, but misses tremendously.
And in that 20 feet, I move up another 10, so I am 15 feet above the ground. My little numbers thing isn't working, so I'm 15 up.
15. Oh, hold on. 15. There you go.
And I'm going to start by casting Guardian of Nature as a bonus action. Have your body getting all flowery and bark and tree-like. And then, since this is a wisdom-based attack with advantage, I'm going to throw a Thorn Whip at it.
Oh, all right. Going at the one fighting Tamarkan?
Yes.
Nice. Ooh! Ooh! Yeah, as that will connect. This thing turns to see you just the last second as it catches onto its body.
And I yoink it 10 feet towards me. It's still 10 feet, right? I believe so.
It's still, check the thing. Might be still be 10 feet.
I know Botanic Reach is longer, but this is like, I hit it, and I hurt it, and I drag it. So, oh god, I have some.
Yes, you would drag it, I'd say 10 feet. That's 40 feet above, so it comes down, probably like right here, and then let's say 20, 30 feet above.
Oh, come on, it's not entirely fair. Only one of us can really fly after all. We need to level the playing field. That's gonna be my turn.
All right, as Samantha, challenged by this creature, your magic seems to have hit it, affected it, it holds on to it, but it doesn't seem to really respond to your attack.
Yeah, I am going to hear its words sort of wash over me through the water. I am mortal now, but I will not be when this is over, as... Which one do I want to do? Which one do I want to do? Yeah, I want to do that. It's the cooler one, as Samantha's just going to sort of disperse that bow for a moment, reach out, grab towards the snake that is clinched onto her neck, and call it back to herself. She will drop concentration, cast Far Step as a bonus action. And as that snake is flying back to her, the moment it comes back to her and connects with her back into her arm, she just seems to teleport right in front of her face, floating in the air and just conjuring up the largest haymaker that Samantha can put together, as she is just going to try to punch her in the face with 3 Eldritch Blasts.
All right, give me those shots.
Yeah, we're gonna go a little wild with it.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Mini.
Let's see. 1, 2. Okay. As this first strike goes wild, swing with great magic. Second one comes in, connects again, right with her face, crashes into her, and then magic seems to basically disperse its head and then reform it, although it does seem to actually reel back a little bit from the attack. But that last one,
push her into the chair again.
head disperses, nothing there, and then returns as it sits there. And last attack, it seems to reach up and again gently guide your hand shut.
Yes. What height is her head at, essentially?
She's like sitting in a big old chair, so she's about 20 feet up.
I'll just mark that. As I just look her in the eyes, all of my snakes focused in on her, sort of matching her own beat for beat. I am Medusa, the Serpent Empress. But what I will be, I do not know, but you don't either. As that is it for me.
As it simply just looks upon you, these snakes circling around.
And you are right. But perhaps that is why you do not know yourself. You look towards the end of the path. Every step you take looking towards your destination. You take no time to look upon your reflection to see who and what you are now. A mortal. You walk and breathe as mortal. The power you wield, mortal. Like so many others, you rest above them looking down, believing yourself to already be where you wish to be. And yet now, you must rise to meet my gaze.
As her hand starts to waver at her side. Let's go back to where you're at. There you are. Little Swiftala, what you doing? Doing her thing, wounded, reeling back. You can see it turns around, seeing these blades cutting into its body, and you see this one creature whipping and swishing out with magic up towards one of its allies, and then it turns back to face you. Swiftala, and its form changes. As this creature you've been cutting and tearing into immediately turns into Persephone, as its own arm whips and curls and starts to whip and strike all around you. As you're gonna get 3 mirrored reaches coming at you. Bah. 27.
Oh, this catches her off guard. Holy. Yeah, she tries to block it, but is unable to. Yeah, that hurts.
Another one swinging up the other side. Oof. 20.
Oh, it doesn't hurt as much.
The last
Still
one
hurts.
swinging in
Still
18.
hits. Able to dodge this one just narrowly out of the way. Seems that it has gone away from small attacks to just bludgeoning me. Oh, thanks, Persephone. How could you?
Sorry.
As this
Dang,
creature
why'd you have to turn into the tree? Why could you just stay as the vine whip girl?
swims up in your direction. You see this thing just as well. Focusing on magic moving quite quickly. Oh yeah, that's right. As this thing turns to Persephone, Swiftala, this thing goes really fast and goes, guess what? I'm so fucking fast. BAM! Extra attack.
Dang, that's cheating.
As this creature swims forward, getting caught in this twisting, contorting... I guess moss? What's it looking when the water's switching around them, slowing them down, Persephone?
It doesn't. It's only when I'm touching the ground.
Oh, that's cool. Never mind. As this thing swims
Oh wait, I
into the
saw
water...
my reaction. I have that. Sorry, God. I interrupt everything. I uncannily dodge it out of the way, redirecting it. I forgot I saw my reaction.
That's okay.
Uncannily redirecting it and
Assuming that last
having
attack?
Last attack. Yep.
Yeah. This creature will get just underneath you, Persephone, not able to fully reach you with your speediness, but instead it reels back its hand, and just from below, you got 3 reaches coming up, just within range. Bah! Ooh! Catching you in the back. Ooh, another one striking in. Bah! Woof! Somebody in the air. Last one. Oof. Just kidding. There's another one. Got some magic in there. Woof! Not quite able to reach you, though.
But that first one does get me. And it does hit me.
Whacking into your body.
Alright, con save. Let's go. Hold concentration to stay tree. That works, right?
Alrighty. As this thing sits up just before you, Samantha, and as its hand lifts up in front of its face, you see magic swirling around its hand, and then it points it, and you see this long and winding serpent swirl around its body, condense around its finger just before you, and erupt, brushing through you as what looks to be this massive rushing line of powerful water that just seems to shoot through the air. One sec. Second. As I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw.
counterspell?
Doesn't seem like it's bending its fingers for magic.
Ah, okay. Fun times. Yeah, where the fuck are you? There you are.
As it is magic.
If I teach
Ah.
Oh yeah, I am that thing.
It is magic. It is
Coming
magic.
to terms with your magic resistance.
As the serpent from its finger erupts and catches you in its mouth, almost crushing you and pushing you a tremendous distance away as this thing shoots a line of pure, magically driven water. Ooh, that's GM later. Good thing, too. Water. Oh no, that's worse. As you are pushed 20 feet backwards through the water away from it, taking 41 bludgeoning damage and knocked prone.
That damage hits me, and she sees this throne that she's like wrestling this thing with. She cannot help but in that moment, unable to react in time to call a defense to this magic. She cannot help but remember another throne, one that she sat in, one that she almost in a haughty atmosphere, much like the thing she's fighting, looked upon these petty fey creatures as they fought amongst themselves. And she knows she's not very strong, she's not very heavy, but she remembers that big, stupid Cyclops that Persephone befriended, and she just envisions herself as being as strong and as hardy as that goofy Cyclops, and she's gonna use her Charm of Might to half that damage.
Hey!
And she just
Good shit.
feels like she's a Cyclops for a moment, able to try to resist a bit of that, as I will burn that Charm of Might that we got from Big Boy.
Yep, as the magic inside causes it to crackle, and then after the attack blasts into your body, it sizzles and falls away. It's being a small, looks like a small gem still wrapped around a rock, or wrapped around a small loop. As you'll take out the damage, resistant to the bludgeoning, but you'll still be shoved away and knocked prone.
Eh. Prone. In the water?
Yep, you're just floating upside down,
Floating,
basically.
okay.
You're basically like turned upside down, like trying to find your, yeah, exactly, just spinning around. As you will need to make
Which is
assuming your first weapon,
horrifying.
so need to make that good old delicious, I'm assuming delicious, con
Oh, yeah, you
save.
got it. With advantage, as I try to center my mind. Hey.
That'll do. As Swift Hollow, back to you. This creature taking on Persephone's form, landing some good blows in this moment of surprise.
Hot off guard. Also, non-sequester, I'm interrupting. That's horrifying, what's happening to Samantha. Because we're underwater, there's no sense of gravity. So it's
Oh, yeah.
just a lot of vertigo. You're just spinning. There's a lot of vertigo. There's nothing to ground you. You don't know where up is, and it
You
sucks.
gotta do your
because
kick-
I
you gotta
should
do your
know.
kickies.
Yeah, it sucks to be spinning around like that. Ugh. Anyways,
By the
I
way,
should know.
you're
I died.
tortured.
I have fucking been under that. It sucks. Don't do
Uh-huh.
that. Bonus action. Aim. Focus on myself. See Trisephone, and I mean I've modified her armor. I know what her weak spots are.
I put them in there
It's a
for her.
breastplate. Oh yeah, I know. I made it. It's a breastplate. So all the standard weaknesses that is under the armpits and the neck. Yeah. Take a moment. Bonus action to aim, and it's my full action. Attack.
Ooh,
Know
as that'll
thine
connect.
enemy.
As how do you kill Persephone?
Tragically. And yeah,
classic
the
knife to the
first
gut.
attack, it seemed almost mirrored to the same way she struck down her mirrored form the first time. Just stabbing it in her armpit, and as it turns to retaliate, I guess to try to get the dagger out of the way, she stabs it in the neck. While her vital parts are protected, I mean, it only covers her torso.
As you
Unfortunately.
disassemble Persephone, these
As
strange
I
metallic mirror
disassemble mirror
forms,
Persephone.
twists and contorts, and then disperses into water until there's nothing more.
He flourishes her daggers. Once more. And I'll be your turn.
All right, as this creature finally freed from its stilled state, awakens. It turns and looks around until finally its eyes seem to catch up on this creature struggling in the air above it as it will swim upwards, just getting within reach underneath it, its hands reaching up in the air and taking on a seemingly similar, slightly disheveled state as it will transform into hold on, maybe 15. Oh wait, shit, he's fucking in reach. What am I doing? Gets right up into you. Oh, actually, that's perfect. That's beautiful, baby. That's beautiful, baby. As it swims up just next to you with just enough speed, just within reach. As you see its hands begin to crackle with that same energy as it transforms into a familiar serpentine shape. And that strange, like, I guess we call like a massive magic you use to batter and punch into this reflection of yourself becomes these masses that seem to reach forward with spiked hands and try to, yeah, I guess reach and punch you with a little advantage. Ooh, critical strike, catching you in the side. Another fist coming up. As you looked up, Samantha, you could see this thing punching and striking into your form. Same force that you were feeling punching into this large version. You see yourself smaller, possibly weaker, completely mortal. The Yuan-Ti striking up into you.
I'm still a Cyclops, baby, as that punch comes in. It hurts, but it hurts half as bad. As I got resistance to everything until the start of my next turn. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it.
Toughened.
Take another hit, still have half.
Gotta get those con saves, unfortunately, but you got it.
That's all right.
I believe in you.
These are all 10s. What is it? 13. 6? Yeah. Advantage. Bonk. Just barely.
Ooh.
Bonk.
Ooh.
Just barely. Bonk. Alright, cool.
Too close to call for some situations. But you still hold on to the magic. As, let's see, this creature now held beneath Corin's boot. This time seeing him wave and attack somewhat recklessly to keep itself, well, not recklessly, you just struck him while he's down. Swings up at you. Unable to truly break out, but instead just trying to cut into you with its blade this time. Disadvantage. Dude, 25.
Okay.
As it swings again. Ooh, 28. Why are you using these on the disadvantage rolls, guys? Come on. As it'll swing one more time, but cutting into the ground as it tries to rise itself up, but finds itself truly unable to do so. Let's see. Yep, that's all he can do there. That's fine. As Tamar Khan. Enemies surrounding you changing shape, even some of them seeming to steal the magic from your allies. And Samantha seems to be being battered to the north. What do you do?
Look up at Persephone. Can you get away? Samantha's in a spot of trouble.
I can.
Tamar just turns his feet and just kicks out into the water and just jettisons himself forward towards Samantha. 45. I can move 20. I can move like 23, so I get about here. As with a twist of my hand, Tamar's body starts to shift as the armor on his shoulder and around his waist starts to just dissipate, turning into these small little strands of hair before just dissipating into nothingness. As around a small dart in his hand, seems like air begins to swirl. He's gonna cast some Zephyr Strike. Boop. On his dart as he's chucking it out towards other Samantha. And hoping, since she just shifted a second ago, she can't shift again. But throwing that dart out with advantage.
As you will throw it, again, it seems like it sees you coming with all your defenses raised. And it will shift, trying to turn into something a little more tough.
That's fine. As the dart with a 27 to hit, I'm assuming will sink in. Getting that sneak
That
attack
definitely will.
Getting that Zephyr Strike damage.
Ooh. Get that Zephyr Strike damage.
Ooh.
As how do you kill this thing?
The dart, as it seems like Tamar just pulls out, just bubbles itself out of his belt as it seems like bubbles just explode from his hand as he whips it outwards. It's just like a strange tunnel of air shoots through the water and cuts into the side of this creature as Tamar's speed slightly increases as he's just going to everything. Everything is shifted already. No. As Tamar, man, only good shot left. He is going to swim back around this here pillar a bit with his extra 10 feet with Zephyr Strike. 30 feet! Fuck yeah, Zephyr Strike! He is going to wheel all the way back around here as he's going to bring his bar down once on a... No. Yes. He's just going to bring his bar down on a... No, he's not. Drops his bar, pulls out the bow, and fires it over here at other Persephone, trying to get her a little closing out here, giving her a distraction to escape away as the shot fires out with a disadvantage. Yeah, because it's still disadvantage with a bow. Awkward shooting a bow underwater. Cuts clean, but firing the bow itself, shit. Hey, 33 is a hit, though.
Ooh, 1 sec. Oh god. Where are you at? Where are you at? No. No. Yep, you're right. Alright, as that will still fly. Ooh, shit. Yeah, that'll definitely do.
Just 10 damage, but it does carry with it a tiny little bit of ki, as taking 13.
Ooh. 13. And nice, as this thing gets pierced by your arrow, catching into its side. It seems like its defenses try to raise its shield, but it goes right through, breaking through like water with that tremendous amount of force behind it, it seems, and catches right into its form, wounding it, but still quite defensive.
Marble just turned to Samantha. I will give you the chance that you need for the lesson that is to be learned. As he turns back around towards other Tamar and other Korath.
As other Tamar sees this interloper, turns to face him and swims up into his direction. Just making about here or so before it actually... Oh. Yeah, he did. As you'll see it holding out from its distance instead. Kicking its little feet, swirling its tail below it till it reaches a nice height. You see its hands pull back some of its own metallic flesh, stretching the hairs until they become a long, strong bow. As you will have 3 shots coming at you, Tamar Khan.
Hey, nice.
As 14. Second one. 26. Ooh.
Second one will connect as Tamar, without bar in hand, without his armor in place. The defense has dropped quite drastically, but still got one little trick up his sleeve as the... Is it a weird bolt of magic or is it a weapon thing? Can I catch this motherfucker?
It literally looks like this thing is forged, like when it was using Samantha's magic, it was literally forging like a physical representation of it and launching it like blades. Those things seem to be pretty solid.
As Tamar will reach up and just spin the water in front of his hand, as it almost seems like a small air pocket forms where the arrow is coming, as right as it hits the air, snatches it with a blink of an eye. Yes.
Alright.
That bolt, yeah, not going to use any ki to throw that back. I don't think he can anyways, he's outside of reach.
Last one comes flying. 21.
Will just barely connect though for 6 damage.
All right. As this creature pulled closer to Persephone now looks down upon you, and upon looking at you, you see its form immediately shift. As this thing, assuming it's not grappling, swims down to your level, getting just up next to you. I guess just technically above you. As it will hold out its, oh, you did this, didn't you do shot? No, you did. As its hand turns in that long, winding whip, devoid of thorns, but thick and bulbous, trying to beat its way down onto you. Doesn't seem like it attacks with the same advantage. It doesn't seem like it's fighting the same way, just mimicking you. But it does get its extra attacks. Woof. 12.
No.
Woof.
No.
16. Deflecting. Woof. 18. Getting closer and closer. Last one. Woof. 25.
Oh yeah, that. Damn it.
It's a nice little ramp up there. It was nice.
Swinging faster and faster with the strange, speedy magic that seems to course through you. As that's its turn. Corin still holding this creature on the ground. It turns into you. Seems to be quite hardy. Able to land a blow or two, but you're hardy as well. What do you do?
Karn's gonna look at this creature and just know that even for him, it would take literally forever for him to kill himself. So he is going to look towards Samantha in her injured state and look towards what she was trying to do, and he's gonna think to himself for a second. His cape doesn't necessarily give him a fly speed, it just propels him like he's flying. Can I use it underwater?
Certainly seems like it. It shoots you forward.
Yes, he's going to turn around, look towards this giant swimpet, and underwater his cape kind of bellows and turns into these strange flames as he will use 2 charges to shoot himself 40 feet forward. Or I don't know if I still have the half movement, but I'll use 2 charges anyways.
Nope. The ability propels you. You were just launched forward in a burst of air. It seems like the bubbles out behind you in a small bubbling stream.
Alright, but I didn't know that until now, so I will still use those 2 charges and try to tackle my way into this lady's stomach, because even though I may be small, I have a very large personality, as I'm going to try and knock her prone and then grapple her. Because she's technically
Certainly.
1 size larger than me instead of 3.
For grappling, post your ability one more time. Let me take a peek-see at it. Ba 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 da 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 da.
Oh, never mind. It's 1. No, it's 1 size larger. It's
Yeah.
considered large.
She's one size too large for you, I'm afraid.
Can I still knock her prone?
Seems like not. A little too big for you. You are considered medium and basically for grappling shoving, so you can lift and grapple onto fucking ogres and shit despite being a little guy. But this is a little bigger than an ogre.
Does prone have the same rules as grappling?
Yep, basically. Size larger or not. It basically the same thing.
Because you're the shover.
Yep.
Alright, then I'll just beat her face in.
Hit her with the shovel.
I'm gonna use reckless attack and just do the same thing I did to Tokmar Khan, just try to beat her nose.
Alright. Ooh, as those will connect, smashing into her face, chunks of it seeming to be ripped off and replaced by what seems to be wavering water. Ooh, 31. As it seems like you are doing hearty amounts of damage to her, but again, the magic reforms and she just turns back into this large serpent empress, one might say, as it just looks to you. And you see like even the softest like hint of a smile on her face.
That'll be my turn.
Alright, as Persephone being beaten on both sides by clones of yourself. What do you do?
Samantha's still down, so I'm going to use my bonus action to give her a couple of fairies. And as an added bonus, my Balm of the Summer Court, you're going to get a rousing blessing, so you immediately stand.
Hey.
Hey!
At least be unproned. And can use your reaction to move up to half your speed. Also,
So,
I'm
like,
giving you
a
4
square?
fairies.
Blah, 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 blah.
Feeling those fairies, Samantha just sort of centers herself and flips herself over. Whew. Is that +4 temporary HP on top of that?
Yep.
Thank you.
And that was my bonus action, and seeing you know what? I could probably take a couple more hits. That's fine. I'm gonna use my action to cause a giant crystal to emerge from like right beneath her throne. We're just gonna fuck up her whole throne. I'm gonna cast Erupting Earth on Lady.
Okay. Give me that. The area and spell. Is it the entire throne? It's like what, 20-foot cube? 30-foot cube. How big is that cube?
Somebody read it to me as I get my
Ooh,
tablet.
20-foot cube. Ooh, so it's square and up. Nice.
Yeah. That's why I like it.
Alrighty, let's see, baby. What's the deck save? Nice. But. Ooh.
I don't think the DC is 13.
No, it is.
I'm
definitely-
assuming probably
It's
19, probably.
Yeah, it's 19.
Oh yeah, you can have your 22 wisdom, dirty cheater, apex girl.
As you see the earth begin to shake and shudder, her eyes glance down, and then immediately her entire throne just shivers, shakes, and explodes into a shower of shards that fly up into the air or begin to send down. As at its center, you do see this entity sitting. It's no longer sitting, its coiled tail rising and twirling beneath it. As its form sort of shifts for a moment, and as the rocks explode upward, they fly freely through it, falling gently around her.
I'm not sorry! As Persephone, with her double speed, she's just gonna try to fly away. Pew! Towards Swifty.
Oh, you sure?
Yes. Yes.
They're rearing up the bats.
Yeah, I know.
Here they
I'm
come.
I'm sure. No. No.
Oh, they don't have disadvantage because it's bludgeoning? Or they have like a trait or something?
They can swim. They've been swimming all day.
Oh, yeah, swim boys. They're made of
I
water.
made it. They couldn't hit me. That's my turn.
All right, as Samantha, the remains of this thing, one of you would say your throne, exploding in front of you through Persephone's magic, and then now descending, cascading harmlessly through this massive creature that Corin seems to be thrusting and attacking against. What do you do? Right for the tummy.
No, stop.
You think just because I'm focused on the end, I forgot where I came from? As Samantha sort of shifts herself thanks to Persephone's magic, and then she just is going to sort of swim back, almost looking like she's going to try to shoot over Corin. She conjures up that eldritch bow and begins to sort of lock those arrows up with her before... I will put emphasis on it this time. She is going to use a bonus action and just teleport and come in from the side, and just concentrating all of that energy in a moment into her leg is just going to try to kick her in the ribs. And all of that magic comes into contact nearly instantaneously, almost as to be a single solid hit. Not truly, but so damn close as to be almost imperceptible.
Give me those attacks.
Let me make sure Hex is off this time. There we go. Please roll. Boof, boof, boof.
As this thing's hand reaches out to that foot and catches onto it, as all three explode prematurely next to its body, as any of those will connect.
I have spent 5,000 years as a goddess. I know what I have done. I know my past, then and now. I simply do not know which path to take going forward. That is it for me, yeah.
As he just looks over your foot, looks up to your body, and then eyes lock with yours, you see your head just tilt. And she sort of pulls you closer for a moment, all the snakes surrounding you as you've done so many times before, completely engulfing and observing what you've seen with your entire, I guess you'd call it your court.
Then perhaps you must stop thinking as a divine. Stop thinking as Medusa, for I am not you, as you say. What would Samantha Deus do? Samantha Deus, who with all millennia of pleasures and joys, treasures from the heavens themselves, chooses to bottle and satiate herself with a memory of mortal life. What would she do?
As you see her face shifting ever so slightly, the serpents recoiling around her head, until you've noticed, as you've been blowing her head up, I guess to say the least, every single time the serpents have dropped in number. Her tail has retracted to her body. The scales across her form seem to be dispersing, falling away, until now the woman who really, truly, for the sake of the saying, stands before you on 2 feet, looks more human in her appearance. As she will, just as she did before, gently release you, letting you go forward, and sort of shifts herself back. And then again points her hand directly down the line.
Okay, no, stop that. I hit her.
Hit her so good. As that will catch against her leg. It seems to disperse her leg for a moment, but it does so harmlessly. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Oh, no.
As again, that serpent of water is emitted and ejects from her hand, catching just down the middle between Samantha, Corin, Tamarkan, and Persephone. Everyone give me some dexterity saving throws.
Do I perceive the danger?
You certainly do. You saw it before. You've seen it now. Hey.
Stephanie's with
Look at you with your +1.
We're bonded. You get a little D4 on there.
Ah.
I didn't hear my name. Am I getting targeted?
Yeah, so all you're just watching as Persephone gets engulfed by water.
Yeah.
Oof. Rip her.
Later losers. Like,
Ooh.
imagine having evasion.
As Persephone, get your save.
Plus the D4.
D4, baby.
Plus a
D4. Was it? Oh.
14.
As again, this massive serpent of water comes reaching out and crashes through you all, doing 26 bludgeoning damage to those who fail, half as much on a success, and those who fail are knocked prone and pushed 20 feet back.
Me and Corn are good.
Yeah, you guys get blasted by the water, but both of you, Corin being strong and able to withstand and pull himself, basically raise his defenses in time, and Samantha, having withstood this before, easily withstand it again. Don't get pushed back.
I can use the thing, I think.
Ooh,
now.
ooh.
As a,
You can.
it's Persephone gets knocked back and has a little trouble maintaining her leafy, planty form. She has these new flowers on. Did I make it?
14 makes.
DC 17. And she rolled a 1. That's her con save she's talking about. Yeah.
14 for 26 damage.
Yeah, because it'd be, what, 13?
It'd be 13.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
You can still smell the flowers,
like-
though. You can still flavor yourself.
Delicious.
It's really
Yeah.
weird thinking about it because it's airborne but or in water, so that's not actually how it.
We can breathe the water.
As this creature
I in the water.
That's not how the scent disperses.
with great speed, improved by some magic on Persephone, comes swimming through the water. Oh god, yeah, god damn, I'm sorry. Swimming through the water! Swims up to your level, just getting up about 10 feet beneath you. Actually, no, she'd be right here. No, she getting that? Yeah, she'd be right there, fine. As she reaches up with her long, reachy vine and swings away. Bah! Missing. Woof. Woof. Woof.
Jeez,
Woof.
they just lost it.
Zoof, zoof, zoof.
impressive RPM.
As Swift Hollow comes to you. Seems like you see Persephone being pursued by her apparently magically charged attackers.
Advantage.
Marcon, what are you looking?
Prone.
Well, no, he's not within 5 feet of him. Has to be within 5 feet, and yeah, They're gonna beat the shit out of you.
Had to get closer to beat the shit out of you. Fool.
What are you doing, Swiftallo?
Believe that's within range? Dang you, shakes fist angrily, Persephone. Yeah. Water walking up slowly and having finished off the first mirrored Persephone, I guess I get to attack the next Persephone again. Yeah, as a bonus action, I send 2 daggers forward.
Alright.
Trying to stab into mirror Persephone's neck.
That's right, you did kill that last one, so you get some advantage on this one. Nice, as this thing's whipping up at Persephone. It tries to move quickly to avoid 2 blades stab into its body. As that, ooh, takes a good amount of damage, mama. Bam.
Yeah, Swift Hollow recalls her daggers and then readies her action. Readies herself to throw her daggers again at mirror Persephone. Waiting to see what someone's going to do. But hopefully there's some sort of distraction, maybe Persephone herself or not.
What's that someone going to do? We need a more specific trigger. I hold my action until someone does something. Like
I hold my action to, I guess whenever Persephone attacks.
Persephone attacks? Okay. Waiting for her to strike so you can follow up. Nice.
Yep.
Alright,
this creature is Marcon's probably going to go after Marcon.
As this creature rises itself up. Let's see. Oh, he's no longer grappled. Sort of immediately pushes some of the dirt and debris off its body. And immediately, how far can he? Oh, not far enough. As he will try to kick up the ground with the same sort of force after you, Corin. But unable to do so, even with your extra little speed that he seems to have taken for himself. Unable to reach you. But you will see him rearing up, holding up his axe. Ready to strike. No, he's a dummy. He sprints right up to you. A little extra speed, just trying to get right up on top of you. And actually get right over you. Swim, 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 as Temarkon.
Washed away? Did my bar that I just dropped get washed with me? Did it get
It actually would, yeah.
As Tamar getting tossed and turned in the water, thankfully being able to defend a decent amount of his squishy parts from the bludgeoning damage, a little bit of evasion, but still getting tossed and turned, rights himself and just reaches down and kicks off the bottom of the water here on this strange platform to right himself, and grabbing the bar in one hand, dropping the bow as he is going to kick off towards over here, just over towards Swift Hollow. As once again, a strange air pocket seems to form in his hand, dropping 1 concentration of Zephyr Strike and casting it again, as firing 1 more dart up in the direction of this creature up here with advantage.
Alright, give me that attack.
21 to hit.
Oh, as that'll connect.
Attack, and a little bit of a, gonna land a little death strike in there as well. Ooh, number 5. Doing 18 damage to fake Persephone, and now with the burst of speed, able to catch up to her. How high up is she? Is she 15 Purse?
15 feet. And prone.
So yeah. She's oh, Purse is prone, not the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tamar just goes up to 10 feet, getting right basically up underneath her or so as he wheeling the bar around in 2 hands now, just trying to bash into the back of fake Persephone. A 22 hit.
Yep, as it does try to instinctively, seeing you attacking it, try to shift now into your form, but I'm assuming that attack will still hit.
Yep. Only got 21 AC right now.
Alright, give me that damage, as that will totally connect.
slashes in to the back of him as yeah, fuck it. One more key point to try to disrupt its form, to try to stop its movement, to end it. Can't save.
Let's see. Try to resist magic resistance. Ooh, able to withstand it just barely. Able to hold itself together. Thankfully, its own magical composition holds itself together.
As that is Tamar.
Alrighty, this creature here sees its enemies splitting up. And let's see who will go for eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh god, evenly paced, evenly matched. Let's see. Alright. As it sees commotion, an explosion of rocks, it sees something rushing forward. It will swim up a little closer here from a distance, aiming its bow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh god, let's do it again. 1, 2. Yeah, this time keeping its defenses high. Aims its bow down at, I guess at this time it's darts. Dropping the bow, reforming to its body, pulling out more of these hairs, long, thin needles as it throws them down at you, Corrin. As you got 3 darts coming your way from this Tamar Khan floating in the water behind you. Yeah, 1, 17.
That hit.
And 2, 26. Ooh. And 3, 14.
That one will miss.
All right. Striking the ground next to you. As other Persephone, oh god, Prey gone. What do we do, Prey? What do we do with Prey? Yep. As this thing comes swimming with incredible speed thanks to Persephone's magic, this time reaching up at a safer distance to come after, ooh, actually perfect. Just behind Swift Hollow and Tamar Khan, you'll see this thing's body whipping out in a bit of a frenzy. Its body seems to be wounded, but it seems to split up both hands into long winding vines. Make about right here. One of them coming down at... right about here. One of them coming down at Swift Hollow from above. Next one coming down at... right about here. And it's at Tamar Khan from above. That's right. One coming after Swift Hollow, one coming after Tamar Khan. And one Tamar Khan.
Hey.
And then it trades, one going after Tamar Khan, and then one after Swift Hollow. Oh.
Oh no!
And yeah, Swift Hollow ready for her attack, but then seeing this very hardy blow coming at her, she instead uses her reaction to uncannily dodge it, bringing her blades up, not able to stop all of the force, but able to redirect it somewhere where it won't hurt as much.
Nice.
Yeah, uncanny dodge. Take 7.
Be able to
Alright.
use your held action if you want to do that. Just heads up.
It's when Persephone attacks, I think.
You can read its reaction, so.
I actually didn't see Persephone attack.
Technically, Persephone attack.
That's stupid, I like it.
I'm just saying if you dodge it,
Thinking.
you're not going to be able to use
I know.
your action.
Nah.
Do you
Uncanny
eat it?
dodge.
Okay. Dropping the attack and dodging instead, cutting the blow in half. As Corrin comes up to you, a couple bolts stacking into your, like, long, thin needles sticking into your back, as Mirror Corrin stands off in front of you.
I'm gonna look at me and be like, you wouldn't mind if I ignore you. It's not disrespectful. It's just kind of important that I go help her. Sorry. Kind of slide right behind her. Samantha, maybe you want to move. I don't want them focusing you, as I'm also going to strike at Serpent Lady twice.
Alright, give me those attacks. Doing so wildly.
Yes. I also did that last turn, so they would have their advantage.
Oh, that's true. Let's see, that one guy got his shot in. Hey! 1 extra bolt in your butt.
As you move up behind Samantha and you start to like wind up your shovel, you see Samantha sort of point her her scepter down and away, not pointing to anything, but it almost just seems like I guess trying to block you without actually physically being able to block you.
Get the fuck out of here.
Are you sure?
You see her head nod up and down.
Corn shrugs and says, okay, as he's going to try and grapple me.
All right. You want to do this? I'll do this again, old man. All right, give me that grapple check. Ooh, let's see. This thing gets to... Ooh, yay, I get to use the thing finally. Yay! As this thing seems like the moment it reacts, its form doesn't seem to have much strength to it, but the moment you react to try and touch it and grab it, it seems like it tries to, with its own ability, match with just movements itself, magically mirroring your capabilities for just a moment. Ooh, but not able to make it, as it is grappled.
Okay, want to go for a ride? As I'm going to use 3 charges of my jet and pull us all the way over here.
Grinding against the seafloor the whole way.
As you go flying across the water, pulling him back to your allies.
Hey guys, Samantha's probably going to die over there, but she told me to leave as I'm going to beat Corin in the face.
Just punching your clone. As that'll connect, crashing into its head.
Sorry, my turn.
All right, Persephone, prone in the water, turning yourself around.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn myself upright, and we're gonna do panic. I'm gonna Thorn Whip at the now Tamarcon.
All right, give me that attack. Ooh, as Hattie defeat Tamarcon.
As I right myself up, I start to form the magic in my hand, and my Thorn Whip lashes out at it and squeezes bubbles.
Squeeze. Turn them into water.
Okay. And then we have the other one, but I have to probably get out of here real quick. As Persephone is going to, with her bonus action, poof, 60 feet away. Great distance. That's my turn.
As Samantha facing off against this reflection of yourself alone, it seems like its magic continually pumps into you, trying to keep you off your feet, I guess, even though you are swimming, trying to buffer and wear you down, testing your own mortality. What do you do?
Samantha just sort of moves a little bit closer. And she looks at this reflection, and sort of after withstanding that water serpent and just sort of putting her hand up in front of herself and closing her eyes to withstand the magic and hearing the words that this thing is saying to her, for a brief moment, she sees a very sunny day and a bright green iridescent tree and a strange looking jackrabbit, which she can only perceive to be looking down at her with just this warm and almost comforting smile, something she's only seen to her memory once. Before she comes back into this weird watery place and lowers her scepter to her side. And it might be her ego or her pride. She can't fully see herself in this thing. She refuses to. She just moves a little bit closer to it and sees everything that she should have been responsible for. And all of that malice and distaste and hatred and violence that she has harbored for the Yuan-Ti. just seems to sort of mix with everything that she's experienced as Samantha. As she moves as close as she'll allow. I will always see myself as divine. That is what I am. But I have not been a good goddess. I have harbored resentment for everything I have made. I guess she was right. As for the first moment, Samantha thinks of Persephone, thinks of Luna, thinks of Lolth. The things that she has found herself in some twisted way or another loving. And just through her own will, chooses to love her creations. As she tries to give the serpent a hug.
As you reach out and just sort of like put your arms around this thing's neck, just like before, it seems like besides the magic it threw to blast you away, it did not really stop you. It did not lash out, did not try to tear and rip. It just simply watched as you acted, and your arms gently rest upon its massive shoulder. The serpents, again, now few in number, now dispersing, until this thing that you're holding is really just, again, more like a giant Yuan-Ti, arms wrapping around it. And its form slowly but surely starts to shrink in your arms, taking on a slightly more familiar shape as it does. Legs returning to it as it once were, until you could see in your arms, no longer there, a familiar, very familiar shape. Scales falling from your skin. You see serpents falling from your hair, save for just the slightest shiver among these long raven locks that remain. You see the ire in your eyes softening, just the slightest glint along each cheekbone, maybe the sign that something's there. Instead, you see a face you haven't seen probably in a long time. You see the face of not Medusa, the Serpent Empress. You see the face of a fallen goddess, a Yuan-Ti cast from the heavens and descended upon the mortal world, who has spent well over a year now experiencing things from the perspective of the creatures that she has since looked down upon and cast down, as you see the face of Samantha. Samantha Deus. Right there. So 1 sec. There we are. All you see is Samantha.
I have been cruel. And full of disdain. I have continued the cycle as this sort of echoing voice falls away from her, and she just seems to sort of almost speak to herself, I guess, in a softer tone that I guess Persephone would be able to hear with her crazy sharp perception. She gave me a second chance. I think it only fair I do the same for all of you. You have to learn. You have to grow. Empress. You need what I never had. She just holds herself as close as can be and whispers a single word into her own ear, something so soft that even Persephone wouldn't hear it. As, with this acceptance of responsibility, and she's never really fulfilled as a goddess, Samantha becomes true neutral.
As you'll see, the waters begin to calm around you. These images all around you, the ones facing off, immediately go still. And you see one by one, they begin to disappear. The one looks like stringing up another shot at you, Samantha, before lowering its bow, its form returning back to normal, this strange, faceless thing, before it too disappears. It seems the waters finally calm. And once all things fall, once the enemies are gone, you can all look forward and see, looks like Samantha holding on to a shape. Some of you, at least maybe, I think only one of you now, very familiar. The other ones just seems to be a woman.
Drifting down, picks up his bow. A small magical hand starts to drift around and pick small, tiny little darts out of the water that are floating around.
I miss other me.
So it seems a lesson has been learned. But a warning to you. You must accept what you are in the moment it matters most. You are divine, divine in magic and soul, but your blood and flesh are mortal, just as mine. I see into your heart. I see you wish to nurture them, save them, bring good about in the hearts of the Yonti that was found in you. But I see also the desire to rule them, to be worshipped, to be looked upon as an empress as you once were. I pose this question upon you, a question of sacrifice. If given the choice, if one was impossible, which would you choose? To save them or to become their goddess?
Huh. Can I message you the one word I said to her?
Sure.
That I want to give the Yonti that they never had, or that I never had. Where are you?
Go for it. I'm right here. You hold me. I'm in your house. Real estate.
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Hello, your computer has virus?
You stumped him, Omen. You broke him.
I sent it to you on Discord. My bad.
I know, I got it.
Oh, okay. I would save them.
Persephone
And-
starts to tear up.
And then you can. As a goddess, as all gods are, they reside above the world, watching down. Their hands, their voices, so powerful they cannot reach to the veil without destroying it. They are silent in most moments, save for one, it seems, who had meddled with the planes so much that she fell from them. You are now walking among them. You are Yonti. You have chosen a name for yourself. If you call yourself Medusa, so be it. If you call yourself Samantha Deus, so be it. But if you wish to lead and save, if you wish to have that which you wish, rule them and lead them, not as a goddess. Lead them as a mortal, a queen, as what you wish to be. Perhaps then you may find the steps, the great and mightiest of steps, and you will reach the peak that who he too, Malar, the many-faced beast, had achieved. Godhood cannot be claimed. It is earned, for I have seen it myself.
As this form disperses in your arms, becoming strangely and horridly wicked, but still composed, almost like the creatures you were fighting. Instead, you see wrapping all around you and swishing in the water, its presence seeming to just wash away the magic, the stones beneath it. You find yourself completely entombed and surrounded in the shape of this massive serpentine form. This almost like a serpent made from water, until her form disperses and reforms in many shapes.
Just as I do not rule as a god over the creatures I counsel, I am but a teacher and a student, to teach and to learn. To some I am the mirrored serpent, that of the mirrored waters.
As you see a familiar face to you, Temercon, seen only once before, a serpent covered in these iridescent scales with a soft and gentle face, a warm smile, something that your brother seemed to be quite attuned to in the past, and lessons you seem to fail to learn.
And in past, when given form, when seen the face of man, I too took upon my own. I am Jean Marid, the serpent of mirrored waters. I am water herself.
As this wondrous shape erupts before you, it looks to be a woman similar in your size almost, until it expands out greatly. Her legs, or what should be legs, seem to be this winding coil of a dress that seems to spin off and dissolve into water. Her hands holding this trident made of, looks like driftwood, coral, all sorts of delights, wondrously twirled around into something of an immaculately and yet always shifting shape. And then this presence spills across the water. The dimming, the feeling of compression around you here thins, and the water becomes more breathable, more movable, as you find yourself much more capable of moving, as if the water wasn't even there.
And you have done well to learn, my newest student.
And she touches your shoulder with her little trident, and then turns on to the rest of you.
And if you have not seen it yourselves, the answers you seek, although some quite narrowed, perhaps may be felt. You ask if you could change something, young elf, a creature perhaps incapable of change. You ask to complete the impossible. And yet, you can see for yourself the reflection of the impossible. Avarice herself finding selflessness in these moments. If it is your power, or simply the power of this world, the possibility. As liquid, all things changing. As season, all change. So too do we.
Swimming past you guys, the serpent turns and faces you, Temercon, with sort of the softest smile. Probably the first time you've ever seen her in this form.
A beast no more, a monkey it seems you still cling. You find yourself wondering if you are worthy, if you fare the forces that your brothers raise against you. Look at what you've done. Look at what you have accomplished. You faced yourself, you faced your allies, and I see into your heart you face even greater challenges. Your brothers have always wished to rule in every form, but you with a mischievous soul. You've never been fit, never been cut for the role. But never before has a creature of your kind found himself so challenged, so strengthened, so impossibly driven to do the impossible. You are truly one of my worst students, Temakon, for there is nothing I can truly teach you. Your wisdom, though mortal now, is impossibly flexible, impossibly liquid. I've never been able to teach you anything that you cannot learn on your own, and that you cannot bestow upon your allies. Your worthiness is something only you can decide, something I believe you have proven this day.
To admit, my old great teacher, I knew the answer before I asked the question. The friends that I find by my side, I'm sure it is possible, maybe even guaranteed. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Indeed, my worst student.
As for the first time, this completely stoic face immediately just drops, and you see her form almost disapparate for a moment.
Tamar just sort of dances back away from the rest.
As looking down to you, Swift Hollow, this thing almost not kneels, but stands, but there's no legs to stand upon. Her eyes gazing down upon you.
Car, get the fuck off of me!
You can't stop from clinging to you.
You have a halfling backpack now. Congrats.
You serve in her eyes, elf. You act for her grace, guided. You have been trained to do so. You are an
She
agent.
gave me purpose when I had none. I was lost and she found me.
I cannot find the machinations that would drive her. I cannot know what her decisions are. But know this. If you're truly her follower, if you feel your heart, your mortal heart, guided to act, then so too shall it be in her will. All strings connected, leading to their ends, fated as they were. They guide us in these moments, guide all creatures in these moments. You will feel it, if ever questioned, whether it is speaking a word, pulling a trigger, driving a knife. It will be by her will.
Her
Perhaps,
will be
though,
done.
perhaps, though, as a mortal, you are not she. If you find yourself questioning, perhaps question the question, why? Why does Swift Hollow wonder if she's following her will? Perhaps there is another pulling from within.
As lastly, this thing seemingly swims down, changing its form back to that of that winding serpent to get up real close to you, Mr. Corn.
A voice you wish to hear, a voice once heard before, a voice never touched by the ears, but with the earliest man, the earliest elf. I can show you. As the snake will whisper, lean real close to Corin's ear, and you see her face for a moment become this blurred mass and then grow bright and light as it seems like it's trying to become something that you can't truly see. And Corin, you hear a single word in your ear, As roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh.
I believe in you.
I see. I'll use my DM inspiration.
Oh, we're not bonded yet, Corin. Oh no. I'm sorry. Hey.
Hey. Nice. Okay, good shit. Hold on. I got this. Oh god, he actually did it. Holy shit. Okay.
His brain didn't explode. Oh fuck.
Oh
What am I
god.
supposed to do now?
No, I got you.
This is the I wrote down in my notes, and then Corin's brain explodes. I don't
Oh
know
god.
now.
I'm gonna
And
have
he
to wing
melts.
this. As in that moment, you experience something, a facsimile of something from the dawn of mankind. Stories you've read of Ayun the goddess, in her great might and her great power, spoke the words, the earliest words to mankind that turned their eyes up to the heavens and released, and basically opened their minds, not only to the power of magic, but to the presence of a greater power. It is what drove mankind, the earliest and most, I guess, intelligent at the time of beasts, to seek out the heavens. At least its power. And in that moment, that facsimile, your mind is completely challenged. You feel like something's about to break as you hear some impossible word in a language you do not understand. But that word persists in your mind and travels through your body, and you feel something inside you click. As you feel a deeper connection to magic now, having heard this word, having heard this powerful word. As inside you feel all around you, the world shifting with magic, magic that courses through you, through your friends, through your allies, even through this creature very powerfully. As you, my friend, unlock yourself, little bit of a boon.
Uh-oh. God voice boon.
As you become innately aware of the magic all around you. There we are. In action, you can open your awareness to the presence of concentrated forms of magic, allowing you to sense with your own natural senses the presence, location of magic items within 60 feet of you, as long as it's not covered. It seems like you have almost like a sense of smell to determine what that magic is, enhancing your own ability to determine locations, maybe some magical ingredients as well.
Thank you, Merid, for telling us all that.
Yep.
Who that voice much?
Oh, whoopsie.
We're epic that way.
True. As indeed. As magic rushes over, you find yourself strangely connected with magic. But I find that a question lingers on the hearts of all of you. What drove you here first? Simply to mend a heart, to find your truth. Something hangs over your head like a cloud.
I've spoken to my brother, Madri. He says that you have been watching the place we come from. And if the mortal man is the material, a storm now rages. You would not happen to know its purpose. It's tied to the Yonti, or another, as turning away from Persephone to make sure. Let's see if I can give her a little wink. Give the serpent a little winky.
Trying like stealth, or what are you doing?
Sleight of hand, sleight of eye.
Sure. You're just trying. I would ask for a stealth check as you're trying to hide your face.
I'm still bonded. Still have advantage though.
Who are you trying to
Ooh,
to? Ooh.
Trying to hide from you, Persephone.
Oh.
31.
The
Give
funny
me
thing is,
a-
I would bet $20 Mel doesn't even know what you're trying to hide right now.
Good. Good.
Note taking. No.
That's all good. As yeah, it seems like Persephone's still getting her bearings. I guess receiving the full weight of her answer that maybe the impossible is possible. Yeah, it seemed like she catches your winking eye.
The clouds and the feathers that fall from above. They are connected indeed, as well as the serpents who turn their heads to the sky. Within that writhing mass, there is a creature, one that's wing beats so strong, so mighty, with such power, they conjure the forces of the celestial beings above, tilting the world to his will.
Looks over to Samantha.
Samantha just sort of comes back over to this platform and sort of listens to the exchange with her and Corin and then Tamar, and just her mind is kind of just in another place at the moment, thinking oddly enough of the three Yanti with her, wondering about them. And then Tamar asked that question. Well, I suppose we'll have to figure out a way to go up there and punch him in the face. Sometimes love is what is needed. And sometimes discipline is what is needed. And in his case, it will be discipline.
Look around at the rest of the party. See if anybody's got anything else to say.
No, I just fly to Samantha and I give her a hug and I tell her I'm so proud of you.
Why?
And you've come so far from when I first met you.
And it is a great task to look honestly within oneself. More difficult for others. I hope now that your step will be lighter, Samantha. Maybe without such hatred weighing you down. Instead of just there. No. I'm gonna do wonderful things. As Tamar reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder, you see just a big ol' earnest smile on his face. And if you'll accept him,
Samantha
you'll feel
reaches up to your hand and pulls it off of your shoulder, off of her shoulder. You see a bundle of serpents move around her face, sort of framing it. And you see 5 of them stand out to you, still streaked with that distinctive, colorful line down their backs. I have learned that you are a man to place your trust in. But I do not want you to place your trust in me until I feel like I have earned it. My words are silver. I cannot change that. Let me prove to myself that I will not shirk this yoke again. My steps will be lighter. They will not be full of hatred. But now they are weighed down by responsibility to mark on. Let me fulfill that responsibility.
So be. Not all lessons must be learned at once. When you have found it, I am sure I will be waiting eagerly. Thank you, Samantha Deus. Thank you for earning What we are. As far as you come. One more step, yes. So you are finally there.
I think so.
A lesson has been learned here. I hope it guides you well. I hope you find a new face and new form upon the surface. I hope you look upon your reflection and find yourself changed, knowing yourself better and prepared for the next. What awaits you above, it seems, will be far more dangerous than what you faced in here. Farewell.
As the waters shift and boil, something like boil, like water suddenly starts to shift around you. This thing's form grows larger and larger until it becomes a serpent in shape, but for a moment, almost quite horrifying, large in size, encompassing the entirety of this area, swirling and moving with life until finally you find yourselves shuttled upwards, painlessly this time, up through that entrance so far above you, until you spray outwards and you feel again that moment of pressure constricting you before it suddenly releases and you all spill outwards into the hut of Mandry Khan, all soaking wet and water pouring from your mouth as you'll see Mandry Khan and Kulor more importantly, holding on to the edge of this kettle, looking down towards you guys, concerned as Mandry Khan looks surprised seeing you guys suddenly appear. Oh, there you are! Oh, you were in there for quite some time, it seems.
Look down into the pot. Thank you, great old teacher. Till we meet again.
Ah, so it worked. Well done, Mandricon. Truth be told, I thought it would be a bit of a farce, but I'm glad to see you're all okay.
Are you all right? Persephone, Tamako, Samantha.
Oh my gosh.
Are you all
Hold on.
wounded?
We're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
Just some lessons. Taught a bit harshly, but we are fine.
I learned I don't think I can beat myself in a fight.
Well, no, you're quite strong, Persephone. I've seen it myself.
Yeah. Yep. Seeing is believing.
Oh, right, sorry you had to see that.
Was that
Yeah,
Sophie?
good.
That was a bit introspective. I lost myself there. Swithella just like blinks a couple times. Oh,
How do you mean you lost yourself? You look pretty collected, as you usually are.
I think I took returning to zero a bit too seriously. And she just takes a deep breath. Oh. You're alright. I'm sorry you had to see me stab you in the neck.
I'll be fine. I think. I should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was almost like a bad dream.
So you have what you know now. You have what you seek.
Indeed. It seems like the phone that we sought out in the desert has come to us. Far up in the sky. Because of all of these. Seems we must find our way to him.
In the clouds.
Indeed.
Then
With the
dress
beat
your
of his
wounds
wings.
now. As he gets up and sort of dusts up his armor. You've been in there for some time.
As he opens up the door, and immediately as it does, you just hear the sound of the wind brushing against and billowing through the air once more as you're back invited into the horrible storm of the desert.
Because that cloud has landed.
What?
As he'll pull out his sword and point it, and you can see cutting through this now thickened storm. For a moment, you see disperses inside a bit of an eye of the storm appears just through the center, seeming to focus down in one specific spot of town. As it seems like that dark cloud hanging over above has been slowly but surely lowering itself, and now finds itself in the city of Roka.
Let us see. As Samantha is going to think back to that moment of acceptance, that moment of love, and hold on to that. At least this time, instead of that immense capacity for brutal violence. And almost softly try to reach out with her magic and beckon it away from where it has been bestowed and pull it to herself. Almost gently, like she was reaching out to cup the side of someone's face. As I'm going to burn my last spell slot and try to dispel it again now that we're back from my seance.
Okay. Give me that charisma check.
I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Hey.
This is guide your
Here.
Hey. As with your magic gently beckoning this thing, you feel a moment of immense control. And this immense power you would use to destroy what's in front of you instead sort of takes it, connects with it as you saw it before, and guides it. And you feel the wind around your hand that was basically rebuking you before gently twirl and disperse. And around you, the air becomes much softer, although it seems only the air around you. And slowly but surely, maybe after, of course, a few seconds, you can see the air becoming a bit softer around and around. Your magic has been sent, and you feel that, I guess, form this thing had break, but it is unraveling. Slowly unraveling, but it will take time for this magic to fully unfold itself and remove it. But it does seem like you have created the slight twist and tear to unravel the weave that has been powering the storm. And you can all see. Hell, Corin, you can almost sense it, watching the magic literally disperse slowly in front of you in a path leading towards the storm.
Just want to add a little bit of my own flavor with the change in alignment as Samantha almost calls on this new, for lack of a better comparison, light side pull of her own magic. You see in her other hand, once again, that series of claws form around her hand, now striking, it seems, a balance between the two inner forces of herself.
Nice.
Gray Samantha.
We move now.
That's cooler. Takes a sword in hand. You see a look of anger on his face for a moment. Talk of fighting and striking down foes. Fighting yourself, it seemed. Man is driven to fight fucking something.
I totally could have killed myself if I wanted to. I'm just saying, if I was there, I'd totally do it.
But I wouldn't kill myself. I'm too strong. But I would kill myself.
As you guys will make your way towards the heart of the city, now making your way past this gate and seeing rising above that once dark cloud hanging just like just less than 1,000 feet above the city, parting a long spiral funnel as you'll find yourselves entering the city of Roka and heading towards the source of this storm, now seemingly headed towards the plaza, close to what seems to be the ziggurat itself, the place of the gods. As that is where we will end tonight's session, with the Valiant Vanguard having found lessons within themselves, reclaiming at least a bit of something, or at least truly recognizing something within themselves, and growing as a result. But now they find themselves faced possibly by their quarry, the thing they've been hunting, this being of seemingly great power, though perhaps not as powerful as once thought, his magic able to be unraveled, if only through a new form of perspective, a new growth for the Serpent Empress. As we will return with the Valiant Vanguard facing off against this threat.
Oh, yeah.
La 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 la.
Would you say that the ziggurat is like one of the most like I guess like holy sites on a hearth?
Oh, every level of the ziggurat is dedicated to gods. You went inside. You found yourself there. You don't really find yourself anywhere.
I'm just saying if there was anything else. But okay, like this is like.
Oh yeah, in the city of the gods, the ziggurat is literally it's the reason why the arena is right next to the ziggurat is because
Let's just say it's the city of the gods of the city of the gods.
Okay.
And this is and they consider this the reason why the arena is so important is because it sits at the foot of the ziggurat, which rises up to the heavens.
Okay. Alrighty.
La la la
Good
la.
shit.
La la
My goodness. Well, that was a ton of fun and a lot of emotions. I hope you all enjoyed hanging out with us tonight for Song of Rapture. I want to thank North Shore DM. Thank you for following. Valkyrie Bait, thank you for following. Guild Superior, thank you for the raid earlier. And Micah, absolutely. And Dicey Bard, thank you both so much for following. I hope you had a good time with us tonight on Song of Rapture. We will be back for some more D&D this upcoming Sunday. The game that I DM, Heroes of Thylia, our wonderful Greek adventure, as our heroes are facing off, it seems, against this malevolent spirit on the mountain as they travel towards the necropolis, trying to face the challenge within. And yeah, they just got punched in the face, last I remember, for a whole bunch of damage. So will our heroes prevail, or will they die right here on the mountain and join the legions of other would-be heroes? You'll have to tune in this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, to find out. And maybe Sophia will get answers in her dying breaths. Who knows? Probably not. It's fine.
Just want to be a skeleton. I don't want to be a ghoul. Just turn me into a skeleton. Ghouls are lame.
Skelly. You want to be a Skelly boy?
Yeah,
All right,
turn
we
me
can
into
make you a
Skelly
Skelly boy. That's fine. But that's all we've got for you tonight. You can be sure to follow me on Twitter at Lionhead_gaming for updates on the schedule, along with my own musings and things that I'm interested in, TTRPG-wise, Kickstarters I'm backing or not backing, and various opinions. Or you can join the Discord and discuss your game with us and talk about the latest UA if they put out some more, or upcoming books or what have you, on our wonderful official Discord. So feel free to check that out. That's all we've got for you tonight. So, as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Later, y'all.
Wow, what a couple of schmucks. Hey, I'm walking.
Get your shots. Get your shots. Get your shots. It's the only way you can get 5G.
Shots.
Okay. So,
Two raids in a row.
So many raids!
hell yeah.
Hey, Brandon, if I turn into the BBEG, do I get to laugh evilly and monologue for you?
Oh, you are not turning into BBG. Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyways, that is end of the initiative order. Aether is freaking out. She sees that her dad, at this point, has pretty well stopped everything from happening to help her out. On death's door almost, breathing heavily. Blast, you feel your mental energy and capacity is just getting fucking drained at this point. Top of the order, Akita, what would you like to do? You see that Aether